You forgot. I'm a kid. 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 You forgot.
E, what's good?
Wyatt.
What's
Hey,
happening?
what? Hold on a second. I don't know what happened here.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear me. All right, there we go.
Okay. Can you hear you?
I can hear me now.
All right. What's good with you, brother? How you feeling?
Oh man, I feel all right. Everything going good. Everything going good.
Good, good. How was your weekend, man?
How was my weekend? I went to a lot of parties this weekend.
Party? You went to
Yeah.
some parties, E?
Well, you know, family gathering parties, like birthday party, this birthday party, that
Church party?
anniversary party. I think I
Okay.
went to like three or four parties this weekend. Friday night, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday.
Wow.
Just
Should be
celebrating
partied out.
people. Celebrating people, man. You can't beat that.
Yeah, you
People,
should be partied out, bro.
bruh, I know I got a lot of leftovers. I always take a plate. So I got a lot of leftovers.
Oh, you one of them.
upstairs.
You
Oh,
one
I
of
did.
them.
Oh yeah, I'm one
Do
of
they
them.
have to tell you, or you just go on and get it? You help yourself, or do you wait for them to say, "Hey, we got plenty. Y'all grab a plate, and then we
Well,
don't want no
it's understood, but yeah, I typically wait. But it's understood, if I'm heading out a little early, hey, don't leave without a plate. Like even if I tried to leave without a plate, somebody would be like, "Don't leave without a plate." So
Yeah,
I got to
yeah.
come back and get a plate. But they don't have to twist my arm too hard.
I like that kind of party.
Yeah,
I like that, especially if the food is good. Now, yeah.
and the food be good. The
Okay,
food be good. Cookie can cook. Yeah.
okay. Well, ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I love taking plates home with me as well, as long as the food is good.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, as long as the food is good. Other than that, man, well, it's good. Man, did you enjoy your birthday weekend? I know it was a couple weeks ago. Are you still? Um, do you have a little birthday lag? Is it where they celebrating any of that on these
No.
parties?
No. I don't do it for real. To me, birthdays ain't that big of a deal. It's
I
not that
got you.
big of a deal. It's just
I got a
another.
question. I got a question about birthdays, man. Is it me? But do we as black folks celebrate birthdays too damn long, bro? We start them early and we end them late.
There are some people that might celebrate them a little too long. Some people,
Yeah, just a
but
few of us.
yeah, it's a few of y'all.
It's my
I
birthday month. Your
Yeah, I was about
birthday
to,
is like the
you
13th.
strike me as a birthday month type of guy.
Me?
Yeah,
Oh hell no, bro.
no,
I'll be honest with you. I'm a birthday guy where when my birthday come up, I don't even want to be bothered. Like my days are so horrific. Like I'm so much involved in so much chaos on a day to day basis that the best birthday gift that you can give me, and my family knows this already. The best birthday gift you can ever give me is just leave me the hell alone. I don't
Yeah.
want to go anywhere that day. I don't want to go to a party. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. The best relief in my life is some me time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not a enjoy my birthday for
Okay.
the whole month. I don't do that.
All right. All right.
Wrong read, bro. Wrong read.
Okay. Hey, it happens. It happens.
All right. But you seem to be a brother that celebrates his birthday all month as well.
Now, look, here's the truth. If you don't bring it up, I won't even bring it up. I've been around people and then they find out it was my birthday a couple weeks ago and they like, why you didn't tell nobody? Like, it's
Mm,
just another day. It ain't that big of a deal to me. So, yeah, nah. I'm one of them. If you don't bring it up, I won't bring it up. And my feelings ain't going to be hurt.
I feel you. Hey, I remember speaking of birthdays and people celebrating them all the time. Now, this is probably off the little beaten path of what we were just talking about. However, I remember as a younger guy, when you were out there and you were dating and meeting people and this and this and that, it seemed to be, and this is just off the top of my head, it's something that I just thought of just now. I remember when you would meet a girl back in the day and she would tell you, my birthday is coming up. And I know that kind of sound like it's off the topic, but I think women used to use that back in the day. Some of the listeners may know what I'm talking about, especially fellas. They'd be like, my birthday in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, we just met. So this is one of them things where I think people, use the birthday gig to get a gift or two. You know what I mean? Even when you first meet. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? So
well,
I
yeah,
don't
now
know.
that never really happened to me for
That
two
never happened to
reasons.
you?
No, for two reasons. Number one, I ain't had no game. So, I'm trying to.
Well, that's to be honest with you, all due respect, that's usually who it happened to was guys that didn't really have no game. It was like, just like you said, it was something you was telling our guy. I'm team CJ or is it CK?
CK.
I'm
Yeah.
team CK. My bad, CK, if you're listening. And you was lightweight trying to get CK pimped out here. You know that, right? You was giving him some advice the other day. I was listening to your show. I was cleaning up mud and debris and all type of shit, and I had you in my ear the whole time. And I was like, how could you do this? You lightweight about to get CK pimped
No,
and
no.
take
I was
him to
trying to help
Red
him out.
Lobster and all that old shit. And
Look,
bruh.
if anything, I was trying to help him with his pimping. But
Uh,
that wasn't really the case. He was already doing what he was doing. He was already taking her, buying her all you can eat shrimp. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
At Red Lobster. That was
Okay.
already happening. So
Yeah.
if you already doing it,
I mean, I think, that might, listen, man, men aren't cut the same anymore. Back in the day, men held doors, men treated for dinners and things of that nature. And I just don't know if that's what's going on today. But
it shouldn't be. That shouldn't be going on today.
I disagree with that. I think real men, if you want a respectable man, you have to look for the respect at the beginning. And
Uh,
some of the qualities of a respectful man is knowing how to
mm.
treat a woman.
See, look, I would agree with you if women knew how to treat men or accepted how to be treated. But I think when I'm just talking about
Mm.
today's women want all of the benefits and privileges and rights and whatnot. And I don't mean right to vote type of rights. I'm talking about in this
I know
dating arena. They want all of the accoutrement that come with
the
being
perks of having a man.
no, that come with being a man.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Women
Oh,
want
you going there with it.
everything that go with being a man, but then they want to be treated like a woman.
You may have a point there in a certain point, in a certain aspect. If you have two income homes, you're thinking that a woman who earns a living just like a man, you're thinking that she wants the same I, isn't rights a wrong that's a wrong word to use, but they want the same leeway in the household. They want to be the head of the household, but yet they want to be treated like a woman. That's kind of that's a is that what you're saying? They
But
want to
I'm
be
not even I'm not even going to the marriage. I'm just talking about dating. I'm just talking about dating. Women want everything. Like they want the door open, they want you to pay, they want you to, do all the things that, walk on the side of the curb and all of that kind of stuff. But then if
Mhm.
you like, well, here is what I want. Hold on. That's some old fashioned stuff. I ain't about doing all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And it's like, wait a minute.
give me an example of an old fashioned thing,
I would have to, I
like
really, I,
cooking or something.
cooking. All right. We don't went out. I'm gonna come over and you know what I'm saying? You cook something. Cooking. That's some old fashioned stuff. I ain't doing all that. No.
To be honest with you, I don't know of too many women that are like that. I think that a
Oh,
lot of women that want to be
oh.
treated like a woman. Now I could be wrong, E. I'm talking about who I know. I mean, we all run in different circles, but I think that
Mm-hmm.
women that want an old-fashioned man, most of them are looking for old-fashioned men and they're willing to do old-fashioned stuff. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
new women today, see, this is where you have a point. I'm not
And
saying you're
that's who
wrong.
we talking about. At least that's who I thought we were talking about.
But
The
most
new
of those
women.
but
The
most
new
of those
women.
women are they're very independent, and a lot of them, they don't even care if a man opened the door for them or not. That's not on their agenda. These girls, they're about getting the bag and making their money, bro, and they don't care
Nah,
if a
they
man hold
uh-uh.
the door for them.
They won't they like all of that stuff. They may not know that they like it because they don't really see it, but they like all of that stuff. But I was just addressing, you were saying, these guys that's out here dating now, they should be opening doors and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And that's why I was just saying, I don't know.
Mm,
Because with these young women that's out here and some of these older women who out here who you know I
yeah,
don't want to use that. I don't want to say they don't know their place, but they don't know their place.
oh boy, they gonna love you for that.
I mean it in a certain way. Like
I know
I
what you mean, E,
I
but there's some
I
sensitive
have a
ears, bro.
I have a friend who I talk to. Um I don't know if when I say it like that, it sounds sketchy. We call her my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law, me and my wife, and we'll be there. She actually we had this not this conversation, but we were talking to her last night, and she has these things that she wants in a man.
Okay.
She got a list of things that she want in a man. But then you ask her, well, what are you bringing to the table? What are you giving the man? Nah, them days of cooking, I ain't cooking. If he want to eat, he can go buy something to eat. And it's like, wait a minute. Hold on, stop. You can't say I want a traditional man. He got to be able to fix the car and put up drywall and pay all the bills and take out the trash and fix the toilet if it mess up. And he got to do everything that a traditional man would do. But you don't want to do anything that a traditional. If we doing the traditional role thing, then we got to both do the traditional role thing unless we agree, well, this part ain't that important to me. But you can't come at me like I need a traditional man. And I'm like, all right, so you want a traditional relationship. Well, no, I just want you to be a traditional man and I want to do whatever I want to do. No.
I understand.
And it is a lot of that out there.
I have, I can't deny it. I'm not out there really searching and seeing, but from what I do see, I have two young women, my daughters. One,
Mhm.
of course, I can't really put her in this category, but my oldest is 20. She'll be 22 in December, and I'm watching her and her friends and how they interact with the new guy, the new girl. They're the new girl. They're not the type that's going to be at home cooking and cleaning and doing the traditional type of, couple type of thing. But I also watch them say that they'll pay for a meal. They'll take control. I don't know if they're trying to be alpha men or what they trying to do, but they don't like the traditional way of men doing certain things. And in exchange of them not having those things done for them, they tend to do it for themselves. They're not looking for dudes to open doors for them anymore. I actually think that it's not good that it's that way. I think it happened once women got in the workforce and start surpassing some of the things that we're doing as men, and they become the head of household, and Unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, I should say, you know, in some cases, those women that take control of the household tend not to look for certain things from men. And to be honest with you, I think that's why a lot of women find themselves in bad relationships, because they lose searching for the proper qualities in a man when they don't look for certain things. And traditional things can sometimes bring out the great, the good traits of a man. That's just my personal opinion. And
And
if they're out here just trying to look for somebody that got some money that's going to match their bag, you don't know what quality of individual you get.
I agree with you, but look, I'm okay from if my daughter said, "Look, Dad, I'm not some traditional woman. I'm not gonna be cooking. I'm not gonna be cleaning. I'm not gonna be having no babies. I'm not gonna be raising no children. I'm not staying at home. I'm going to work. What's mine? And that's the way she want to get down. And she like, and then I want to do that's. I don't need all that tradition. I'm like, cool, because if that's the agreement that y'all got, that's fine. But if she came to me like, I ain't no traditional woman, but I need a traditional man, I would tell her that probably ain't gonna work. You
Yeah, that's
gonna
a
mess
bad
something up.
combination.
So that's why I'm like, if they don't want traditional, because they're not traditional, and that's understood up front, cool. But if
I've seen a couple comments here. Been about that check. He said, "No, Wyatt, these women want cake and eat it too."
yeah,
Maybe so, but that's definitely a woman that's probably going to be on her own. You see what I'm saying? I'm a big advocate of self-checking. Anybody that can't get something done, instead of looking around and saying, "I can't get this done because of," or because of, or because of, and you pointing all these fingers, I'm a big advocate of self-checking. Sometimes things don't come to you or you don't get them. Like some women say, ain't no good men out here. That's just a ridiculous statement to me. I think there's plenty of good men out here. I just think it might be where you're looking. You know what I mean? The circles and the
or
places
or
that you're trying to
or
find.
what you consider to be a good man. What standard are you
Exactly.
using to judge a good
Exactly.
man?
Exactly. Hey, I got a call. You want to take it?
Sure.
All right. Let me see if I can bring them in. Good evening, caller. This is the King and I. Who am I speaking with? Hello?
This is Marquetta.
Hey, Marquetta. How you doing, sis?
Hey, brother, how are you? Happy Monday to you.
Same to you. Same to you. What's on your mind? What's happening?
Well, every time I listen, trying to get through my work day, I listen to Emmanuel. I listen to you often. But it's a common theme with brothers on the internet, from Andrew Tate to Kevin Samuels to the Manosphere. And Emmanuel, we've been talking for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
Aren't you married?
Yeah.
Okay, in your marriage, sometimes when you come home from work, do you cook?
Yeah.
And if it's something dirty, do you just leave it or do you wait for your wife to pick it
All
up?
depending on how I feel.
So is it that you're saying the traditional role for a woman is to be a maid?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Just
Now,
like
now here's my question for you.
oh,
What defines a good man in your estimation? I'm hearing you say women don't know. What is it?
you asking me or you asking
What should
Wyatt?
we tell
I'm
our
sure she's talking to you.
budding 22 and 23-year-old college educated, bag in hand,
Who are you talking to?
attractive daughters?
She can't hear me.
Can you hear E-Man? I think he's asking you a question.
I can't hear him. Did he answer my? Can he hear my question?
Can you hear her, E-Man?
Marquetta, I can hear you. I'm asking you. You didn't want me to answer the first part of the question, which is fine. I'm asking you in terms of the second part. Are you talking to me or are you asking Wyatt this question
No,
about
bro. I'm pretty
how
sure
you
she's
define a
talking to
good
you.
man?
I'm pretty sure she's
Well,
talking
I'm
to you.
talking to both of y'all because we all got children, and we're saying to our daughters who, and when you hear me talk, I'm not speaking from bitter, angry, nonsensical. I got stats to back me up. Statistically speaking, black women are educated. They're higher. It's not necessarily that they're higher earners, but they are educated. They have a higher degrees in the social. They're like by race
Uh-huh.
and gender. If you look it up, they have more associate degrees, more bachelor degrees,
Yeah.
more PhDs are graduating.
Right.
What are you telling these women in regards to men? How do you define what a good man is if your characteristics of masculinity is working, securing the bag, and I don't know what else you were saying. But
I never
what
said
is
any of that,
how do
just
you
for the record.
direct a 21, 22-year-old young woman to navigate mating with men who are not at that same level, educationally,
I,
economically? What do you tell them? How do you, and I mean, I want to hear you answer, but I don't want to take too much time because I kind of already know what you're going to say. And I think you already know what I'm going to say.
I have
Because
no
how
idea
do you
what you're gonna
lead a
say.
woman if you're not educated? The Bible. When you talk about traditional roles, you're talking about patriarchal roles that come out the Bible. Husband is a religious term and it's a business term in the States. So when you enter into a marriage, Christ is supposed to lead that man. If Christ is not at the head of that man, he could lead you into some dangerous situations.
Okay, hey
And
Marquetta, quick thing.
and I'm gonna hang up after I
No,
make
no,
this
I don't
point.
want you to hang up. I need him to answer part one of part 6 of the question because no, I mean, because you left a lot there. You know, you left a lot there for us to congest. I mean, it's great. It's a great conversation. It's great. It's great. I just need him to answer the first part because it's a legitimate question, and I think he's ready to answer. But he's. I think we're all going to lose that train of thought if we continue to go on. So, go ahead and address that. Don't hang up, Marquetta. Don't hang up. This is good.
Which part am I addressing?
Well, she said, what do you explain? How do you explain to a 21, 22-year-old? There was probably one question before that, but see, once again, I got sidetracked because another great question came up. But how do you address, what do you tell a 21, 22-year-old girl who's educated how to find a good man? What is a good man to that young lady? Isn't
Well,
that it, or correct me if I'm wrong?
By your standard, yeah.
Okay.
well, I don't have a standard for what is a good man. And that's just it. You kept saying you said this and you said that, but I didn't say that. What I'm saying is by whatever standard it is that she's choosing that makes it a good man for her. Like I can't tell you that a good man, if you say to me, Marquetta, to me, a good man is a man that make $125,000 a year. There are people who say that. Who am I to tell you you wrong? And then, then if you complain, man, it's hard to find a good man out here. I'm going to be like, well, look at whatever your standard is. Where are you looking? Are you putting yourself around people that meet whatever your standard? If you say a good standard is a man that get up and go to work every day, but you say it ain't no good men out here, then where you looking? You at the unemployment office looking for dudes? You on the corner looking for? I don't have a standard. Whatever your standard is the standard. And that was why the point that I made was, if you say you looking for a good man, you have to look at what it is that you're looking for and where it is that you're looking.
Okay, I
don't have a standard.
I got a question for Marquetta. Maybe she can help us out because I think you and I we weren't necessarily torn about this, but I'd like to know from a female's point of view. Marquetta, answer this for me if you can, sister. Do you think that there are women? What do you think about what he said about the women that want it all? He didn't say have the cake and eat it too. He didn't make that comment. Someone else wrote that. But do you think there are the 21, 22, 23-year-old younger generation of women that want it all? They want the traditional man, but then they want to wear somewhat the pants and they want to be in charge. Do you think that that's how these younger generation of women are? Or do you think differently of that?
I think that, I think that's low hanging fruit because it goes back to what I just said about what we're facing, not just as Black people, but in this country in general. You have a moral and an educational decline. And with that, you have a population that is basically foreigners can come over here and coexist equally in what we're describing as masculine and feminine roles. So an Indian couple can come to America, both of them can go to school, the man can become an accountant, the woman can become a doctor. And
Mhm.
in her education, her man is not intimidated by that. And so he doesn't lose his masculinity by opening up the door for her. And she does not reject his masculinity or his chivalry because of her education.
Marquetta, I like to say something
So,
about that before I lose trace. I don't know this this stat to be um I would bet money on what I'm about to say, but I don't know this to be the sure thing. But you use the Indian race, and I'm assuming you're talking about the Indians that come over here,
Asian,
Asian
mhm,
Indian. Is that what you're referring to?
right, Indian Asians.
Okay. I would have to tell you that in most cases, I would think that there's more black folks that have an educated couple in the home than there are Indian Asian folks in the home. And that
Find me the stats, brother.
no, what I'm saying
Find
to
me
you
the stats.
in
There are
traditional,
stats that support that the Indian American is the highest earning income producer in the country, which is why I said the decline of Americans. America, it is
no,
American men
well, wait
who
a
are
minute.
saying we need passports, we need to leave these women, they're too masculine.
I think
It's American men saying that feminism has worked in
I think though
reverse
you're equating
and that
masculinity
women are
with
now,
making money and being
instead of
educated.
saying
That's
we
not
are
what men are
not
saying.
being masculine
I
in
think I
today's
think what she's
standards.
I think the numbers that you're equating to are the percentage of Indian Asians that get degrees. But when it comes down to the household, a lot of the Indian Asian women, like in my neighborhood, a lot of them stay home in their places to take care of the family at home, and the men
And the
traditionally
men
have
are
the
what? When you say
education.
traditional, are they educated?
Yes, and I think that's where your
Okay,
stats are going. I'm not
that's bad.
disagreeing with you.
That's the point that I'm getting at.
I know
You can't,
I'm not
strong
disagreeing with you,
men,
but we're talking
listen, brother, strong men make feminine women. Masculine men who create an environment of protection, who create an environment of stability, who have built something, who don't need you to go 50-50. They allow for a woman to rest in her femininity, to be a mother, to plan meals, to cook, to relax, to be your peace when you come home. That's because the man has did that heavy work of getting an education, paying off the bills for his education, securing a job, making sure he has enough money not just for himself, but for the family that he wants to build. And in that, he
I got an
remains
issue with what you're saying, just so
monogamous
you know.
so that his money does not have to be siphoned out to 10 different households.
so
So
what you,
within the Indian American culture, they're able to sustain their race and their gender roles because the man has did the heavy lifting first of educating. But going back into the CDC statistics and other statistics, yes, dual income earners are normal in this country. And again, when you look at statistics, it may hurt our ego. It may be appalling to hear, but the average Black or African American income earner born here in America is about $35,000 to $40,000. That's the median income. We are the lowest income producing group in this country. Furthermore, Black men take out 50 billion. This is a real stat. $50 billion a year out of the Black community because they are unemployed or they refuse to be employed.
how does that
And
happen?
because of that,
I need you to explain
let's,
how do we take out
Oh
50?
boy.
Explain to me how do we take out as black men take out $50 billion out of the black community for
okay,
not for not being
joblessness crisis for Black men costs about $50 billion per year. When considering the official statistics, undercount Black men's joblessness. Here, I'll link this article in you guys' YouTube chat. This has been very popular all year. because this is part of the reason why you have so many black men complaining about mating with black women. They expecting black women to basically date down and date men who are
There you
not
go, Wyatt.
working or
See, that's
becoming
and that's how she
educated
perceives
and
it. She
from
See,
staying
perceives
women
hold on.
because that's a man
she not
to
going.
obey and do what that man says, but he has not proved himself in the economy to lead her.
See,
So of
wait a minute,
course she's going to
Marquetta. Here's where I have to disagree.
question
Here's where I
your
have to.
manhood,
Here's
and
where
we'll
I have
She's
to
not gonna
disagree
stop.
with you, sister. Let me just say this to you. I just don't. I can't agree with you that black men are expecting black women to date down. I can't agree with that because, to be honest with you, there's a lot of white ladies that
date down.
they date down as well. So is it more of a female thing? Because
What
women
are
are.
y'all? Hold on. How are y'all defining date down? Because what
She's
I'm
talking
hearing,
about income and
yeah,
education. I'm
and that's
sure.
what I'm hearing. In
Yeah,
essence, what I heard
that's what I'm
was
talking about.
what,
Income
yeah,
and
because what
education.
I
Can I
heard
read it from
was,
the
Hold
article
oh
on,
real
hold on,
quick?
goodness,
E-man.
you
So
just
this is at
Marquetta,
BET.com.
hold
It's
on, E.
called Black Unemployment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, E. Finish up.
because what I heard was a woman who make more money than a man can't be feminine. She can't be because her man
No,
can't be.
you can't be
Yeah,
led by a man
that's
who's
what.
not as educated. Where you gonna lead her?
That's what you
That's
said.
not. But you got
You
to
said she
understand.
can't be
There's more to.
feminine.
Wait a minute. So you saying that education makes you a leader? Is that your definition of what education gets you a job? It don't necessarily make you a leader. I know a lot of square dudes
Okay,
that
I'm
can't.
gonna use a good example,
Okay.
if you don't mind. I said in the chat, I miss my godfather. My godfather, rest his soul, I left him so much. He didn't mind cooking for us. He was from Alabama. He cooked. He started as a janitor. Okay. He came home from work where he would take his shoes off and light up the whole building. Brother worked hard as a janitor. His wife was pursuing her bachelor's degree. They was taking care of each other through the struggle. Once she got done with her degree, he went back to school to be a real estate agent. And once he got enough money up, him and her together, they created a business. It was like a daycare for mentally disabled people. They was making maybe $100,000 a month. Okay. In order for them to operate as a group, in order for them to operate efficiently, he had to raise him and her. In order to work as a group, as a team, they both had to raise up their level of education and their expectations for income. If she would have continued on her bachelor's degree, she needed her husband to come out of that janitorial field to educate himself and increase his income to help level her up so that they both could come into that $100,000 a month income wealth building business. So it's not necessarily education, it's about where are you leading. And I want to read this because this is what I hear brothers cry and complain all day long. Black women have never been able to rest in our femininity. That is a lie. We come out of slavery. We have people like Fannie Lou Hamer who had to speak out on behalf of the people who were enslaved in her county. You know, you're talking about women who never, when you talk about the feminist movement, that was for white women. Black women have always worked. Even if we were domesticated and maids, we always had to work. So this whole narrative of because we work, we're no longer feminine, or because we're educated, we're no longer feminine. No, there is a real problem with what's going on out here. What is this? What's going on out here? Let me read this article for you real quick. It's on BET.com. It's called Black Unemployment Rate Costing U.S. Economy $50 billion.
You gonna read the whole article?
Rates for black men cost the U.S. economy $50 billion a year, a new study from the Center for Economic and Policy Research. If we could close the white-black employment to population ratio job gap, we could add about $30 billion annually to Black communities and make a significant reduction in Black poverty.
I think she probably
Another estimated $20 billion is lost from a disproportionate incarceration and high mortality rate of working age Black men. So prime age Black men who are incarcerated or deceased still have children, family members, and partners who, under different circumstances, could benefit from their financial support. When one takes into account the incarceration and mortality rates of Black men, the employment to population ratio gap that jumps to 4 times the unemployment rate jobs gap, and the income deficit approaches $50 billion a year.
You got to
So
understand,
when you have-
Marquetta,
So
hold
when
on.
you are a woman,
When
I'm
you
telling
read an
you-
article like that,
I'm telling my daughter not to date Black men.
oh jeez,
Okay.
oh my
It's
goodness,
over
sister.
for that. You can't, because another stat is Black women ages 15 to 35.
She not listening.
One of the leading causes of death is murder by your domestic partner, 15 to 35. And all of this is related. And this is why a lot of our brothers feel like they not even feminine. We ain't even we shouldn't protect Black women, as if you are. When that brother got shot 37 times in
Whoever
3
said that?
seconds, it wasn't Black men. You don't hear no Black male delegation running up behind them to protect Black men. It was Black Lives Matter, even today, led by women, even though it's not benefiting Black men, led by women. See, so I'm just trying to break this conversation, this misogynist conversation that's coming out of the Black male culture
Nothing
continuously.
misogynist
On
about
every
what we
platform
saying.
they get a chance to speak, where they are attacking women without being held accountable for what they're not doing as men, as a group. Sure, we have some Black men, like Byron Allen's a multi-billionaire. You have several athletes that are millionaires,
And
multi-billionaires.
Wyatt, this is a little bit of what I was talking about.
But the average Black male is not a good partner. Sex-wise, that BBC is everything. And white women, Mexican women, they laugh about
You think
how
her
Black
husband gonna
men
lead her
will
somewhere?
sacrifice sex
He can't even get a word in.
instead of going to work.
Wow.
I'm just talking. I'm just saying.
He can have a whole conversation with her. She wouldn't even hear it.
You see these great big whale-like women, 700-pound white women with a Black brother in the house who ain't got to work, but she paying all the bills. That's
And he could be
cultural.
telling her, baby, here's the plan. She wouldn't hear it.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Marquetta. That was a lot. I'm a little offended as a brother because I've followed a path myself in trying to be a strong Black man, supportive of my family, my wife, my children, having daughters. I felt like I followed a path that was never put out in front of me. So I had to learn to be a father without a father, and it was double work to do that. But to say that, that most Black men aren't good enough to be someone's partner, that is a little irresponsible statement to make, because when you read an article, when you read an article and you say something like, we're costing, because of incarceration and things of that nature, is costing $50 billion out of the community, you got to be fair and say incarceration of all races. Every race is costing somebody some money. And then there's an assumption in there also that the people that are not in jail would have gone off and got educated instead of being incarcerated, and that they would be making XYZ. You don't know how much money they would be making. You don't know if they would be gay. You don't know. You can't count. I don't know how they can even come up with that type of number, not knowing what a person's circumstances are outside of being incarcerated. So that's just a pure assumption, that number is. And I'll be honest, it sounds like something that just kind of makes us want to point a finger in a direction and give us a reason of why things are the way they are. It just doesn't sound solid
but
to me.
why isn't it a clarion call for Black men to stand up and say, brothers, we got to stop going to jail. We got to stop killing each other.
But I think some of us do that. I think if you listen to my show, I think that's why I think that's why people call me names, because I stand on my circle, and I'm one of them guys that I'm a self-check individual. I say, instead of pointing fingers.
And you don't make excuses. So
No.
you're not, you don't make excuses for failure. You, even if you came from whatever circumstance you came from, you don't use that as an excuse to say, I didn't have a mother and father in the home, so it's okay for me to commit domestic violence and snatch this woman's head up out of her skull. I'm gonna snatch her head out her neck. I was angry. I didn't have parents, and then have people, politicians, religious leaders in a community say,
What in the
well,
world
people
is
just
happening?
mean. They didn't grow up with the love that they needed. You don't make excuses for that. And here's another report. Here's another one.
Oh,
The
not another one.
chlamydia, the rate of
Oh,
chlamydia, gonorrhea, this uncurable gonorrhea,
oh my goodness.
HIV, and STD. I don't care who don't like it. This is stats
How did we get to
among
gonorrhea?
Black males aged 20 to 24 years old.
Oh my God.
5.3 times the rate among white males in the same age group with STDs. We are the subject of studies. Nobody is sitting up looking at the Asian population saying the Asian race is such a detriment or is at in such dire straits economically that we need to do a policy study and research to see why they don't have strong communities, why they don't have strong families. It's Black people, because Black people are at the bottom of those stats. And when you attacking Black women,
Somebody want to know if she
you are
married.
the main ones that they're doing the statistics on.
Well, let me
That's
ask you this.
our
Let me
income that
let me
they're
ask you this,
getting the
Marquetta.
median average on. Those
Marquetta,
are our children they're saying that are fatherless. I'm
She's
sorry, go
not
ahead.
leadable.
on those stats. Let me ask you this: who are conducting those studies?
Oh my God. The hospitals, the Centers for Disease Control,
No, I'm saying, okay, who they're doing these studies for? What reason? I mean,
Center for
what's
Economic and Policy Research,
okay? Okay,
so
all
they
right.
can create policies, so that they can figure out. You look at Baltimore, you look at Flint, you look at Jacksonville, Mississippi, Chokwe Lumumba Jr., the mayor down there, when interviewed by Good Morning America, the lady asked him, why haven't you fixed the water pipes? What's going on down there? He said the vocational training did not have enough participants. So they didn't have enough skilled workers who could come in there and fix those pipes, even though it was money coming into the community.
You
Even
can't
though
believe that that's true. You don't think that that's the real
Sha-
reason why
why
they?
would Chokwe Lumumba, the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, lie?
Why would the politician of Jackson, Mississippi, lie? He's saying that there wasn't
About the
enough work.
vocational training.
You're saying that there wasn't enough city workers in Jacksonville, Mississippi, to fix their water problem. Do you think that's the same
Not city
reason why
workers.
it?
That's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
He said the vocational training. So it was a specialized training that would deal with the pipes that would skill them in particular, not just city workers. When you're talking about city workers, you could be talking about trash people, you could talk about administrators. In particular, there was a skill gap. There was a population of non-working people who could have been trained vocationally to answer that labor need.
So let me
And
ask you this.
he said he could not find willing participants.
Right. So
And
let
it
me.
goes back to what it goes, brothers, you and Emmanuel are married. So I'm really not understanding. I mean, I listen, I'm at work, I'm trying to get to my work day, I enjoy you guys, but I really just don't understand how, as married men, you're on the outside looking at young women navigate what I just described. Men who are high in STDs, high unemployment rates, highly violent towards women and girls. This is real. As pregnant women, as married women, Black women are being killed every 5.5 hours. You can't even talk about that because it's Black men that's killing them. And anytime something happens to Black men, if it's not the police, if the police ain't doing something to Black men, you can't talk about Black men. You can't talk about their unemployment. You can't
Hold on, caller. Hold on.
talk about the fact they haven't anything sustainable for their communities. You can't talk about the fact that they're proud gang members. They brag about having 800,000 members, 300,000 members throughout the country, when gangbangers are the ones who are killing the kids do drive-by shootings. We have to start pushing back as women when this rhetoric comes from our men that we're not
Wyatt.
feminine, because we have to protect ourselves from our men. We have to
Okay.
protect ourselves in our communities. And sometimes if you date and you give a man too much, he'll take a rope and he will strangle you with it.
Okay.
So,
On
for
that note,
21 and 22 and 23-year-old young women, I don't think that they should be dating at all. But when they do, hopefully it's someone who is educated, who is ready to enter into a monogamous, loving relationship for a family, not for play, not for clout, not to brag or bring and degrade women as the culture is like men. Now I'm gonna hang up and listen to you guys because I know, yeah, I can go on and on and on, and I don't want to argue with you, but I'm trying to give you some substance outside of saying black women or women in general want it all because they can't be feminine and work. I'm gonna put on my heels. I'm gonna put on my dress. I'm gonna be as beautiful as I want to be as a lady. I'm going to conduct and carry myself as a woman. But that does not mean I have to give my power over to men who are not willing to respect that or accept their place as men over a community that they're destroying. They
all
won't
right.
hold other men accountable even for what they're doing in the community. It always go back to your mama. It always go back to the man. It always go back to this or that.
All
When
right.
you
Marquetta.
have free will, you can do what you choose and what you want to do. And as a group culture for black men,
I
that
think you just gonna have to hang up. She ain't gonna stop.
from what women aren't doing to what do we need to do so that our women can be feminine, so they can be safe, so they can be soft, so they don't have to be so hard and combative when dealing with us. And I'm gonna listen to y'all.
All right. Thanks for the call, Marquetta.
Oh. So yeah, so much to, hold on, caller. So much to say, but why I have a caller. Can we get to the caller?
Please.
Hey, caller, what's your name?
What's up? What's up, Emmanuel? What's up, White Man? This is Mikado, man.
Hey, what's up?
I'll call
What's
her.
good, McConnell?
I just call her, trying to get her ass up off the fucking line, man. I really ain't want that, dude. Like, I'm at work. It was just messing up my day.
Oh, that's shit. Listen.
So,
I
we all
feel
know how
you.
she feel about a black
Thanks,
man now, though. So,
McConnell, bro. Thank you.
man, but that shit was just going on, and I can tell both of y'all was miserable. Especially you, Emmanuel.
All right.
Oh, you don't have my back, McConnell.
But
You don't
that's
have
all
my
I
back.
want. I really ain't want nothing, man. I just
I just shot.
want to end that call.
All right, McConnell. Hey, we appreciate
All right,
you.
All
man.
right. I mean, listen. Let me say this. E.
All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I hear that echo again. Is there?
Oh, yeah.
I understand where the sister is coming from. I just think that there's something going on. Marquetta has seen something that maybe we haven't addressed or we're not aware of. There's something going on there. I'm not saying that she doesn't have valid points sometimes. She really does. But I think it's okay to be critical. All right. It's okay to be critical, but sometimes when you can't become cynical in that criticism. You can't think that that's the majority when you possibly could be looking at a small minority of a situation.
But Wyatt, a lot of what she said was nonsense. Just straight up nonsense. Again, her idea that, because she said this a number of times, that in essence, a woman who make more money than her mate can't be feminine. That's how you defining feminine? You make less money than he do? That's how you defining dating up or dating down is strictly based on financial.
Yeah, and a lot of people have that misconstrued. A lot of people do. But what she's coming from is the power of, basically what she's saying is whoever brings in the most dough is usually the person that is the head of the household. And if you have that type of concept, or if that's what you think is the head of the household, then her logic makes sense. But that's not always the case.
Yeah, and that becomes sometimes the problem because, and that's kind of what I was talking about to some degree in terms of, you wanting it all. Like, look, if you want, which it sounds like she wants more traditional, but to her point, maybe you make more money than he does. You have more education than he does. That don't mean he's not a good man. That don't mean he's not a good, solid, hard worker. That don't mean he's not a moral guy. That don't mean he can't lead the family. That don't mean any of that stuff. It just means you went to school and got a higher degree and you make more money. That's it. That's all that means. That don't make
Right.
you better. That don't make you anything but the person who makes the most money. And when you begin to introduce the idea that I wish a woman would have told me, well, I'm dating down because I make more money than you.
I'll be honest with you, brother. I think a lot of women do feel that way. I think a lot of women who find themselves by themselves is because they do put the financial end ahead of the relationship. I think a lot of women feel like if I make more money than him, then they do feel that they're dating down. I'm not saying that they treat you like shit because they feel that way. I'm not saying that maybe it's just a stereotype. I don't know, but I think that a lot of women who say that they can't find a good man, I don't think, this is my opinion. I don't think they're looking for a good man, what we might consider a good man is.
Right.
Okay. I think what they're looking for when they say they can't find a good man is they can't find someone on a certain level. Now, I can't speak for women. This is my interpretation of what it is, brother. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that all of them feel the same way. I'm not saying
Right.
that.
Right.
I just think that most women who feel like they can't find a good man, the first thing that comes out is it's the financial or the educational, level. They can't find somebody on their level. I think a lot of women will take a really good man if they really, really, I don't know, if they really consider that all men don't have to make $1 million or 100,000 or 120, whatever it is. All men aren't going to make that kind of money. And sometimes, ladies, he might make 50,000 and you can turn him into a $250,000 man because you might have that push and that motivation that man really needs. You might be that strength that he's not getting somewhere else to push him up to another plateau, another level. So, I mean, I know some sisters that have done that. I've seen sisters that have dated dudes that are just, they just didn't have anything going on. And, they fell into the Jedi mind trick of she's going to make him a better man. See, they have to be careful when they doing that too, because that is game. Some of these dudes that sleep on the couch at their mama house, they waiting for the next girl or woman that got some money or whatever. And then they say that everything's been against them. They haven't been able to do this. They haven't been able to do that. We can't do this because, the man got his knee on me and all that old shit. And then they use it as game. And those are the sisters that say, I can't find a good man because of those type of brothers or people. There's.
Let me say this. There's one thing, I won't say I take exception to it because I agree with you, but I got a little bit of an issue. You said, like she could find that dude making $50,000 and then, she could be the catalyst to boost him to $200,000. And that's
Sure.
cool if that happens and that's what he wants. But if he is a teacher and he loved teaching children, he loves helping children, he loves seeing that light go off when they get it, and he's
Right.
making $50,000 a year, don't come in trying to tell him you ain't good enough with your $50,000, living satisfied and pursuing your dream and changing lives. You gotta now step out, start your own business, and make $200,000 a year. And I got the
Right.
plan for you to do it. Hold on, baby.
Right.
That's not what I want. I'm happy.
Right. He's
And if
still a
you're
good
not
man.
happy, you need to be happy with who he is, and then determine whether or not he want to go there. not whether or not that's what you want him to do.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's
I
it.
agree.
That's it.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that sometimes, um, that school teacher is a good man. He just may make 50,000. He don't want to be the dean of college over at the
Right.
University of Cincinnati. You may not have to motivate him. He's very good in his space of who he is and what he's doing, and that may be it. But I don't know. I generally, I just be honest with you, man. I'm a self-check guy. Generally, when things don't work out for me, this is me personally. When things don't work out for me personally, I always look at myself first and say, what could I have done different for something to work out? Not what somebody did to me to not make it work out. I generally look at myself first, and then I go from there. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
generally where I problem solve. I
Yeah.
troubleshoot at myself first. I had a call, but I think they fell off. So, all right, E. Well, that was long. I just, I got a little. You want to take this call?
Why not?
All right. I'll promise I'll put a shot clock on this time. Good evening, caller. This is Wyatt. Excuse me. This is the King and I. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, well, I get a shot. This is Fane Rothstein,
Hey,
aka Hurrah Fane.
Hey.
But y'all can call me Slurra Fane.
Okay, sir. You mean to tell me it's not Sir Mix-a-Lot or Sir Hurricane a lot or something like that? What's good with you?
No, damn, you didn't listen to E40 back in the day, did you?
Yes, I did. A little bit, not much.
Okay.
I didn't like all that,
Oh.
all that old shit. No, I really did. What's up?
Yeah, don't give me a shot clock after hearing that bullshit from that woman.
Well, you put
Y'all
on
sit
no
there
caller.
and let that woman sit there and talk 30 minutes. Andrew,
Sometimes you
nothing but
need
man
that
hating,
fame. Sometimes, let's be honest, bro. Don't we
penis envy.
Don't we need to hear what's out there? I mean, let's be honest. Don't you want to hear it?
We do need to hear that, but at the same time, we've known since Marquetta been calling. She has the worst case of penis envy you've ever heard.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's just penis envy with her. She mad because she ain't a man.
You think that's what it is?
And I always point out, that's all it is. She mad because she ain't a man.
Well,
Or look like one. I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while.
I think she's probably
last time I saw her, she was decent looking, but she was a little taller.
I think she's a sweet woman. I just think that what happened is something that none of us really know. I think she's had some things go on in her life that maybe none of us have really experienced. Some of us who listen to her probably have experienced what she's going through or has been through, and they can relate to why she keeps up with certain statistics. I understand why she does what she does. I mean, I understand some of the numbers she come up with, but I just think they're distorted a little bit. I think that you can put that, like, for instance, when she used, and I'll let you have the floor after this, when you say that most Indian people in the United States are more educated, I think it veered off from what we were really talking about. And we were talking about couples. We were talking about a man and a woman. Most Indian homes in America, I would bet $1 to a donut, because I live in a community here that has a lot of, like, one of my guys, he's an Indian guy. He lives 2-3 doors down from me. He's a brain surgeon, and his wife stays home all day. Almost all the Indians in my neighborhood, that's what's going on. None of their wives work. They're homemakers. And I think that has a lot to do with their traditions in the first place. I don't know a lot of them that are dressed up and going to work in the mornings like their doctor husbands. So I think we got sidetracked by saying that the Indians are more educated. I think they do put education first. They understand how to move in America. They do that. But that's a cultural thing. They've been bred. They're born with education as the number one tool to make it in America or wherever they're going. That's the number one tool that they use, is education. And I think that when you look at most black men that have college educations, I could be going off the realm here. Most college educated brothers are generally with college educated women as well. I could be wrong, but that,
Absolutely.
I just think that most sisters that have college educations are looking for men that are meeting them in they have that same type of, that education level. That's just my opinion. And so that's where I thought she was wrong when she compared the two family dynamics.
No, you're exactly right. Your last point, because there's a woman that I know. She takes offense to the fact that I celebrate her for being married to the same man and having all her children from the same man. She takes offense to that I celebrate that. I'm like, well, it's a really weird dynamic when it comes up, and she, kind of gets a little funky about it. Like, like maybe she ain't ghetto enough or didn't do enough whole shit like some of her peers or whatever. I don't know. It's just a very weird dynamic, and it's sometimes I tease her about it just to see the anger come out about it. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing I really called to talk about was these monkey ass Bengals and that monkey ass coach we got. As I said, when he was hired, I noticed his energy. First, just the way he bro hugged like 10 years older than. I said, this guy can't lead men. And you see him on the sidelines last night arguing with Lael Collins, a grown-ass man, 23-year-old T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, a grown-ass man who's been in the league 4-5 years by now. Been in a real organization for the Cowboys. He's arguing with him. Why? Because he's not a leader of men. Zach Collins or Zach Taylor, whatever his name is. Sorry if that loud. I'm in a parking lot. I apologize. I'm trying to get away from that engine.
You sound fine. Zach Taylor, the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. E-Man, I noticed you got a Cincinnati Bengals sweatshirt on today, brother. You back with us?
No, man. I just
because it's just the white man. Yeah, he's definitely down with that.
No, bro. I happen to have a Bengals sweatshirt, and I paid for it. So every once in a while, I put it on.
Oh, okay. This was before the ban. This was before.
Oh, this was way back. This is an old shirt.
Okay. That's not the Isaac Curtis version, is it?
I don't know if it's that old, but this is an old version.
But no, listen,
Chris Collinsworth.
That's all I wanted. Just that misandry we heard, and it's time for dudes it's time to really start making some real tough decisions about the head football coach of the Bengals, the head ball coach. I think it's time to cut the chain on that one. I don't care what he did last year. That was lightning in a bottle. It was fluke. That team, those kids, they won in spite of him, not because of him.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's time that Cincinnati understand that, and the Bengals ownership. So, but that's all I got, baby. It's been real. I had fun. I'll talk to y'all real soon.
I'll at you, Fame. Thanks for calling in, brother. I will say this about the Bengals. I put up a couple posts during the game. I kind of lost it last night by watching the game, E. I have never in my life, I shouldn't say in my life because I've seen it at a little league football game before. And I mean, it was years and years and years ago. We had the ball on second down or third down. It was second or third down. No, it was second down or some shit like that on the 2-yard line. And this dude ran a double reverse at the 2-yard line. I've never seen that. I mean, it was the craziest play call. I think somebody made a very good point. I'd love to steal this, but I can't. Somebody said that Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, is the offensive coordinator. And the person who said this is a high school coordinator. He told me, of a really good team in the city of Cincinnati. And he said, Wyatt, the problem is this. Zach Taylor's a good guy. He's a good head coach. He's a good guy with the people, despite what Fame just said. He said, what happens is when you're the offensive coordinator, you're thinking one play ahead. And, you can't be the head coach who makes the decisions about going for it on fourth down, how to challenge plays, when to challenge plays, all his head coach duties and offensive coordinator duties all rolled up into one. It's almost impossible to be consistent and to be good at making decisions. And it made sense because head coaches make certain decisions outside of what offensive coordinators do. And when you're trying to do all of those and make all those decisions at one time, this is what you get. You get double reverses at the 2-yard line, lose for 14 yards. You get a penalty or something happens. You work your way back up. No, you get a completion. You work your way back up to the 2-yard line. You go for it on fourth down. Now, you didn't have 3 attempts to get a touchdown from the 2-yard line. You lose 14 yards. You work your way back up. You couldn't get it in 3 plays. So you go for it on the road. I'm a firm believer that you always take points on the road. Okay. If he would have took the points, the 3 points, the game would have probably ended a little bit different. I ain't saying we would have won, but we would have taken a position of being even at that time. When you take points to even the game, the score is 0-0 at that point. Okay, so I'm a firm believer that you always take the points on the road because scoring in the NFL is very hard. Not to mention, when you play a team like Baltimore, who has a kicker that they have, we're probably a 70-yard field where they're a 60-yard field. And what I mean by that is they have the best kicker in the league. They only need to move the ball 60 yards in order to be in scoring range, where we got to move the ball 70 yards to be in scoring range. So when you're playing kicking games and, close games, you take as many points as possible. That's just me. So appreciate y'all. I know you don't do the NFL anymore, but last night was a heartbreaker, brother. It was a heartbreaker, and a lot of people on back right.
How did that young man, the out of Louisville do?
Which young man out of, you talking about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
He had a good game. It was not great. He had a good game. Actually, he didn't have the best game ever. He did enough for them to win. He did what he should have done for them to be able to win and get down the field to get the winning field goal. To be honest with you, the Bengals really should have got beat worse than it was. He missed 2 big plays. Lamar Jackson missed 2 throws that should have been touchdowns. Okay. And nobody's talking about that. And Eli Apple, of course, was 10 yards, 12 yards behind a receiver, and Lamar Jackson overthrew him.
I was reading a story, and they were talking about him betting on himself and maybe getting like a huge contract at the end of the year, but they were saying he had to have basically a good year this year. So, I always be rooting for brothers to make money, even though I would rather they all say, we not playing until y'all bring Colin Kaepernick back in the league and then, move on. But
you need to stop, bro.
I still be rooting for
Let's
brothers
not go
to make
there.
money.
You need to stop.
I heard, I saw a headline, and I don't know, is it Dallas or is it Miami that's down to like their 3rd string quarterback?
It's probably Miami. They having some concussion and some injury problems. That Tua kid got hurt playing against the Bengals.
And from my perspective, you shouldn't have been out there playing anyway.
I heard you say that. That's some hater shit. That's chaos agent shit right there.
That's not hater stuff. That's just the truth. It's a part of it. He shouldn't be out there playing. If he wasn't out there playing, he wouldn't have got hurt. But
why shouldn't he have been playing?
They should have all been boycotting until Colin Kaepernick got back in. And the way that I see it is the league showed you when they said, basically, we going to string up Kaepernick. They showed you they don't care about you. What make you think they care about your injuries? They don't care about you. They don't care about you. Your coaches, they don't care about you. The doctors, they don't care about you. You won't even stand up for nothing. You won't stand up for nothing. So whatever happens, happens. They don't care about you. But, I figure, how could it hurt Miami to bring in Colin Kaepernick?
How could it hurt? He can't play the game.
How could it hurt them to bring him in? If they got I don't know, but if they got nobody, how could it hurt them to bring him in?
They got somebody, bro. There's a process. You got a 1st string quarterback. He got hurt. Your 2nd string came in. He got injured. You got to go to your 3rd string. Now they're gonna have to go to the PUP list and all that old stuff. They got people in place to do what they need to do.
They could give Colin Kaepernick a shot.
Listen, man, let me just say this to you, bro. I'm the only one that's gonna stand up and tell you the truth. Colin Kaepernick don't want to play in the NFL, bro. He ran his course. Don't nobody show up to no damn NFL tryout with a Kunta Kinte t-shirt on and trying to get a spot on a team. You don't do that.
Man can wear what he want to wear.
Yeah, he can wear what he want to wear, but he sent a clear message, bro. He sent a clear message, and it was buffoonery for him to even do that shit. It was buffoonery. If he wanted to send a message of being solid and for a real cause, you use a real individual. You
Right.
use a Malcolm X or Martin Luther King T-shirt or just an X T-shirt or something. You don't go
Yeah.
out there with a fictional character
Not the
that
point he
didn't
was
even
trying to make.
exist, bro.
The
Huh?
point he was trying to make was, I would imagine if you got Kunta Kinte on your shirt, you're talking about slavery, whether it be fictitious or a real person.
Nah,
Everybody
bro.
knows Kunta Kinte was the slave
Do you
name
know?
for.
Do you know everything that man carried those scouts through, those workout people through in order for him to get that workout? Do you know that they tore that city apart to make everything convenient for him? You know, he canceled 2 tryouts. He told them, "I'm not coming to that one over there. Y'all come to this high school field over." I mean, he just
Because what they
tried
were trying to do, because he peeped that they was trying to play a game and he wasn't gonna
what
fall
game.
for
They
that
let him
game.
use his own receivers. They let him use the receivers that
And
he wanted.
one of the things that they didn't want to do was they didn't want any cameras or anything there, so that people could then say, "Oh, he was horrible." But he's like, "Look, put me out there, bring the cameras, let everybody see it. Y'all can say I'm horrible if didn't nobody see me, but if you do it out here with the cameras and everything, then you say I was horrible. I can say play the tape." But
E-
if ain't no cameras, ain't no nothing, it's just you and your people, you can say he was the worst ever. He couldn't throw the ball 10 yards. And you're like, well, they said he couldn't throw the ball 10 yards. Where's the tape? Well, wasn't no tape, but why would they lie? You know people gonna say that.
You trying to tell me that there was not going to be any cameras at that at that tryout? That's you're trying to say the reason why he took it for high school.
If I recall, they were not
wrong.
they were not gonna allow him to bring cameras. Now, whether or not, because come on, that's like saying, well, why record the police? They got on body cams. Come on, I don't trust their body cams. Their body cams
Let's
disappear.
not make it a police
Mine ain't
thing,
gonna
bro. I
disappear.
know this is a diversion of where we're going with it, but let
No,
me
it's
just
not.
say this.
I was making the point that if they not gonna let him and his team bring their cameras, especially when they done already blacklisted him, and like you said, he'd already had to go through hell just to get the tryout. Oh, we got a tape of him. Well, where's the tape? Well, he was horrible. Well, show us the tape. Well, he can say, hold on, I got the tape. I got the tape. Here, this is the tape. This is what I was doing when they said I was horrible. Now you tell me, you looking at it, is that horrible?
So, first of all, let me just say this to you. That is not how you necessarily evaluate an NFL quarterback, by having him have some receivers run routes, uncovered receivers, not even doing a 7-on-7. You can't evaluate a quarterback at that point saying he got what it takes to be out there on any given Sunday. That's not how you do that.
So you saying it wasn't even real. That wasn't even a real evaluation.
Well, yeah, it was possibly a situation where they could see, okay, can he actually hit receivers? What's his timing looking like? What's this looking like? What's that? And yeah, you can do somewhat of an evaluation, but that evaluation that day is not telling you if you NFL ready. And anybody that's been removed from the game for 5 or 6 years, bro, good luck. And it's not like he's trying to play a position like a receiver or something like that. Right. We're talking about.
Well, I guess the world would never know, because there's a really good chance he is never gonna play in the NFL again. And okay, he ain't gonna never play in the NFL again. I accept that, but again,
it's so my take on the reasons why you say it is. Though.
So my take on the NFL is hell with the NFL.
Okay,
I'm not watching y'all. I'm not supporting y'all. And if y'all out there playing, make all the money y'all gonna make, but they don't care about you. And for people to be all
there's a lot of jobs. There's a lot of jobs that don't care about who.
Okay, so for people to be all awestruck that they don't care about that quarterback's head injuries, I don't understand it. They don't care about them.
What I'm saying to you, Edez, if it wasn't for OSHA and some of these other organizations throughout the United States of America, a lot of factory workers could feel the way you feel right now, because a lot of jobs don't care about their employees.
Very true.
A lot of jobs don't care. They just need the job done. They're not.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
And I'm not saying this to be nasty, but they're not in business to necessarily care for you. They're in business to take care of their bottom line. You get paid for that. These NFL players sign a document. They sign up to do that. Boxers
So
sign
then why
up.
people? So then stop being upset about that boy head. What happened. He get paid for that. The league don't care about him. Let it go and move on.
Well, I don't think I ever said anything
I didn't say you
outside of
did. I'm talking about all the conversation that I keep hearing about it. You brought it up.
what? Okay, be specific. What part of that? What did I bring up? What you saying?
You brought up Tua, whatever his name is, head injury. When I said I believe Miami's down to whatever.
You brought up.
no
You said one of the
quarterbacks,
teams.
and
you
then
said
you mentioned that his head injury, and
I said he got hurt. I said the number one quarterback got hurt in the Bengals game. I think he got a concussion or something, and it was bad.
okay, and I
And
said
then
okay.
you
so
went
what?
into they don't want Colin Kaepernick and you said something
No,
about
actually, what
you
I
said,
went in.
wait a minute, hold
Uh-uh.
on. You said it should. You said the hell with him. He shouldn't have been
I
out there in
didn't.
the
No,
first
no,
place.
no. I never said the hell with him.
Well,
Come
those
on,
are my
don't.
words. I was
Yeah.
paraphrasing. That's what you meant.
Whatever happens, happens.
That's
That-
the hell with him.
Right. And so didn't we just agree? The league don't care about him. He signed up for it. He gets paid handsomely to do it. So whatever happens, happens. So now are you saying the hell with him?
No, but you saying it for a different reason. I'm not saying the hell with him. I'm saying that he gets paid for it. When you go into a business knowing that these are potential things that can happen to you, I still have sympathy for a person if it happens to him. That don't mean I feel like,
I have sympathy
shit.
for him too.
Oh
I'm
well,
not,
shit.
I'm not.
Well, what?
Yeah.
He make $3 million a year. So what? The
It
hell with
happened.
him. He knew what was coming up. No, I still
I
have
don't
some
wish
sympathy.
bad on him. I don't hope he died or nothing like
I'm
that.
just saying, but if something bad happened, you still got to have some form of a sympathy for him. It doesn't matter. If it happens, it's still a level of sympathy that should be there. But you saying,
Okay, what should I say?
well, I mean, you basically
I'm so
saying,
sorry. Should I cry? Should I cry?
oh, bro, really?
I don't know. I don't know what to do. It happened. It is what it is.
But
You
you
shouldn't
saying
have been
that,
out there anyway.
there you go. And that's like the hell with him. That's what that's.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. He shouldn't have been
Well, I
out.
mean, if the average ear, if they hear you say it, they may not tell you, but I'm telling you,
They can take
that's
it
what it
however they
sounds
want to
like.
take it. He shouldn't have been out there.
Well, I don't agree with that either because it's
Okay.
not the NFL. Okay, you telling all these
How I
guys,
feel. It's how I feel.
you telling these guys who make multi-million dollars a year, who work since
Mhm.
they were in little league football or whatever, they
Right.
went through college. You telling all these guys that they need to stop their income because of what decisions Colin Kaepernick made.
No, what I'm telling them is
He decided
they
to
could.
protest. That's
What I'm
his
tell-
protest.
What I'm
Why
telling them
push
is.
his protest on everybody?
What I'm telling them is, y'all could have ended that whole situation and made sure he got a fair shot with no strings attached a long time ago. But y'all didn't. So y'all didn't. Okay.
So let me ask you this,
y'all
E.
didn't.
Staying in the professional sports. Do you watch the NBA?
Yes.
So why aren't you protesting the NBA?
What did the NBA do that I should be protesting?
They protested the George Floyd thing, and they only protested one game.
Did the
So
NBA?
there's-
Hold on.
and here's the thing: the reason why they protest, I'm gonna say this: the reason why they protested is because it happened in the Milwaukee area, and it was
Okay.
playoff time,
Right.
and they didn't want it. This happened in an NBA city. So
Right.
if NBA took some form of a responsibility and attached themselves to it, why aren't you protesting the NBA just like you protesting the NFL? Colin Kaepernick's protest was an individual protest. That's what he decided to do. He does not speak for all the players. He does not speak for everybody in the NFL. He's not the representative of the NFL.
Did the NBA, when they protested, say either in action or in word that if y'all protest, you are never getting another job in the NBA? Did that happen?
Did that happen to Kaepernick?
You
No,
don't
I'm
want to answer the
asking
question.
you. I'm asking you. I don't mean to answer a question with a question.
Well,
You asked
if
me-
you answer mine, I will answer yours. Did that
Okay.
happen in the NBA?
No.
Okay. So because of that, that's not a reason why I should be that's not a reason for me to boycott the NBA.
question
Now
to
let me
is
answer your question.
assumption that something like that happened to Colin Kaepernick?
Because it did.
Where? How?
That's why.
Where's the
That's
evidence?
why. That's why that man can't get another fair shake, because they decided he did what he did.
Has
And
it ever crossed
his-
your mind that Colin Kaepernick is just not good enough to play in the NFL? Has that crossed your mind at all?
Then why is it so hard for him to give him a tryout?
He
If
did
he
give
just
it a try.
ain't good enough, no.
Wait a minute.
you're
You
not
want them
being-
to just you want them to
you are
prove
not
to
being-
you by putting him on a roster and watching him fail.
No, but give him a tryout like you would do for like they keep saying, oh, they gave him a tryout. They gave him a tryout. But I recall they said he can't bring his audio and video team. Why not? Why not? Why can't he have some dudes over there with camcorders?
But
Why
they
not?
did that.
Because they didn't want, because
But
they
they did
wanted to
that,
be
E.
able to say, they wanted
But they
to be
did
able to
that.
say, no, they didn't. They
Yes, they
wanted to
did.
be able to say, they wanted to be able to say he was horrible. He shouldn't, he's not good
It's an
enough.
assumption. You're purely assuming that. When he canceled those tryouts and told them, I'm an hour and 30 minutes away from where y'all want me to do it, there were NFL teams and
A few
film
people
crews
came
that-
out. Yeah, a few people did come
and
out.
people packed up their stuff to accommodate what he wanted done. They did it.
A few people did come out. And
Okay, when you say a few, how many teams showed up?
Clearly,
There
I
was
don't remember how
13
many.
teams there.
I don't
E. That's
remember how
almost
many.
half
But
the NFL.
Clearly,
Everybody
look,
in the NFL don't need
look.
a quarterback.
Look, you can believe, which clearly you do, that the only reason that he was ever denied any access or opportunity in the NFL was strictly because of his skill. But that's just not, you can believe it all day, but it's just not true. He was denied access and opportunity because he took a knee. That's why he was denied access and opportunity. And you can deny it. But I think even they kind of had to admit it. What was it? Because again, I don't follow it like I should. But Roger Goodell even came out at some point and basically said, what we did, we handled all of that wrong. It was wrong.
Well, I mean, at a certain
Didn't
point, bro,
didn't at
at
some
a-
point they settle in terms of saying we blackballed him? I don't remember what's the legal terminology for that.
First
Collusion?
of all,
Didn't
first
they
of-
kind of
first of all-
settle that, hey, we colluded against this
and
dude?
who said that? Who said that?
Wouldn't that have been the NFL?
And that would be Roger Goodell. So Roger Goodell represents the NFL, correct? He doesn't represent the
That's my
owners.
understanding.
He actually works for the owners. You know that, right? So
Yeah.
he didn't. He's representing the brand, the shield of the NFL. So at a certain point, even the CEO of a company has to take ownership and become he has to show some form of diplomacy just to make the thing go where it needs to go. Now, somebody asked the question. Somebody asked the question to me and said, would I have allowed my client, being Kaepernick, to sign a non-disclosure? You asked that to Kaepernick's team. I'm sure he signed a non-disclosure. So what do you say to an individual that end up signing a non-disclosure, takes the money instead of taking a lawsuit? Is he really in it for the fight, or is he in it for the payday because he couldn't get back on the NFL field?
I don't know why he in it. I don't know why he in it. And it don't even
okay.
matter to me why he
I
in
know.
it. But
I
the
can see
idea,
that.
that you believe, and I keep asking and you haven't said yes or no. You believe that at no point during this entire ordeal was Colin Kaepernick ever denied a fair opportunity with the NFL. The fact
I can't
that you
answer that, E. I don't know. I can tell you that what we were shown in the public when they had those when they were showing him going to tryouts, I can say that those was fair invites. He had every opportunity. See, what happens is you become conditioned and you become entitled. You have every right to go to an NFL tryout in any city that have NFL tryouts. But no, since he had an agent and had already had tenure in the NFL, he felt like he didn't have to go through the traditional routes.
I got a caller. Can we take the caller? Okay, I'm asking you. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. Brent.
What's going on, E-Man and White? How are you doing today?
Hey, doing good, Brent.
Hey, Brad, how you doing, man?
That's good. That's good. On the Colin Kaepernick situation, I followed it pretty much, from hearing standpoint of what Stephen A was saying, and then having Howard Bryant with the Undefeated actually challenge Stephen A on his position and his characterization of the tryout. And Howard Bryant stated that this NDA that Colin was, what they wanted Colin to sign, would have prevented him from suing for any reason in the future for whatever how that workout turned out. And that NDA wasn't the standard non-disclosure agreement that they give for players that are trying out. They added in that additional sweetener to it, so he couldn't challenge anything. And if you are trying, that's number one. A lawyer that would allow their client to sign that, I might not want to choose that lawyer.
Hey, Brett.
In with that, typically those tryouts aren't done on a Saturday because teams are traveling to their destinations, or they're already there, or they're planning for the game on Sunday. So you're not having the real shot callers that are there that are going to make those decisions on if they're going to bring someone in. And yes, if I'm Colin Kaepernick, I'm not going to depend on the footage that the NFL has. I want my footage in there so I can make me a highlight tape, just like the NFL, I'm sure, was ready to make their highlight blooper reel of Colin Kaepernick, missing a receiver or doing whatever. So, it looks like the love of the NFL is overriding possibly, I'll say possibly out there, overriding what Colin Kaepernick actually went through on the field, not even talking about the actual case where he sued for collusion and that he settled for collusion. Those are two separate items there. So that's my piece on the NFL and Colin.
All right. Thanks, Brett.
All right. Any questions, comments?
No, not for me.
I would say something about the travel thing.
Wyatt, anything from you?
Yeah, I would say something about. I don't know about the team's travel on Saturdays and all that. I don't even think this was during the season. So when he had that tryout at times, it wasn't during the NFL season. So I don't think what day of the week that it was held is relevant.
Yeah, I can hear you. You say you can't hear him?
I can't hear him at all.
Okay, it's excellent.
Hold on.
I can hear.
Okay, can you hear him now? Wyatt?
Brent, can you hear me?
Hello.
No, it's echoing still.
All right.
I thought little baby was handled AB today.
Well, yeah, I done messed some stuff up. Hey, Brent, we appreciate your call. Just listen offline.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, take it easy.
No, what I was saying, E, and I hope Brett can hear me now, is that tryout for Kaepernick was during the off season. So it wouldn't have mattered what day of the week the team was traveling and all that. That's pretty irrelevant. I'm not saying that he didn't have some valid points, being Kaepernick wanting his own film crew to be there and all that, but it was never told that he couldn't have his film crew there.
That's not what he said.
Well, it's pretty damn obvious that it's not true, because when he did have the workout, his film crew and all that was set up, and everybody made it.
No, that's because he moved it. He said, I'm not going to y'all's. If
That's
y'all
not
want to
true,
see
E.
me, y'all come here. He didn't go to the one where they told him he couldn't bring his film crew and everything.
No, he was never told that his film crew nor his receivers and everything he wanted. Listen, man, let me just say this to you. They generally don't even let players conduct their own tryouts like that. They don't call the shot. They're not told what day. They can't dictate what day the scouts and all that come out.
They're also usually not colluded against either. So
Well, I mean,
y'all
like
took
I
some
said, bro.
extraordinary measures against him. So in order for some PR stuff, because that's all that really was a PR stunt by the NFL to try to say, hey, we gave him a shot, and he knew that. So in order, y'all colluded against him. So now y'all make some concessions in this workout. Now he said, again, if I recall correctly, he said they didn't want me to bring my people to film it. They wanted to be the only ones to control that. And then that was why he didn't go to that one. That's why he said, I'm however many miles, a mile and a half or whatever down the road, y'all can come down here. Because he said, y'all not putting me in that trick bag.
I don't think that to be true, E. I know that he had film crews set up at several others. I know that some colleges had him come in and throw the ball around, and some people was YouTubing and they was taking pictures and they was filming him and doing some things. I just don't think that out of the 13 teams that came to his trial, I just don't know if he had what it took. You got to look at the fact that he lost his job due to injury in the first place. Why wasn't Kaepernick standing and kneeling and all that when he was a primetime NFL quarterback, when he was the starter and attention getter of the 49ers? Why was he on the bench, injured, had no chance of ever getting back in the game because he got outplayed? Now he want to become a superhero and he want to fight for rights and all that old stuff. He became relevant again. He lost his position. He lost. I can name a whole lot of quarterbacks that went through exactly what he went through and didn't kneel one time and never made another NFL roster. Drew Bledsoe, the same one that made Tom Brady who he is today. When Drew Bledsoe got hurt, he never seen another day.
That's not true. That's not true. He wouldn't play for the Buffalo Bills after that.
Okay, he was never what he was. He was never.
But he got another opportunity.
No, he was under a contract that got him out of there. He was traded. He didn't have to go work out, and then he was in a contract, and he played out his contract over there. That was it.
But you said after he got hurt, he never got another opportunity, and that's not true. He did.
Well, when your contract is up. When your contract is up, he never got a new contract. When his contract was up, now they may have traded him out of those spots. He played for 2 or 3 teams. But when your contract,
so then how can you say he didn't get an opportunity if he played for 2 or 3 teams?
Bro, as a team owner, if I got you under a 3-year or 4-year deal, if I'm trying to get rid of that money, if I want to get that money off, I'm gonna dump you on somebody. I'm gonna dump you off on another team to get that money off my books.
Look, Wyatt. We don't
That's
agree.
not an opportunity over there. Somebody wanted to get rid of him to get the money off the books.
All right, we don't agree. We don't agree.
I mean,
I'm not trying to stop you from watching the NFL.
I can just tell you how it was bogus that the NBA did they little protest for a day and ain't nobody jumping up and down and saying nothing about that. That was fake. That was fraud.
Nobody threatened to not give anyone else an opportunity if they did it. It's totally different. It's totally different.
Yeah, well, all right. Maybe so.
I think I think we both agree he'll probably never play another down. He'll probably never play another down in the NFL. All right.
And you saying, but you're saying the reason why he won't play is because he wasn't given an opportunity to play.
Yes.
I'm saying that he wasn't good enough to play.
Well, I guess we'll never know.
Well, I think that it's very far-fetched to say, okay, a person who couldn't get back on the field due to injury, and let's not act like we didn't hear some NFL players stepping up saying, and it was black players stepping up saying that Kaepernick. I'm sorry?
I don't understand why that makes a difference, because we heard NFL players, black ones, also say he should have an opportunity and he was not getting one. So you can't say, let's listen to these black players that don't like Cap.
We're not talking about the black ones saying that he deserves an opportunity or don't deserve an opportunity. I'm saying what the black ones was saying of his playing ability. I'm talking about on the field playing ability, not if he deserved an opportunity to play out for a team.
But it's the same. You can't say, on one hand, let's listen to the black NFL players who didn't like him and spoke out against him. But let's not listen to the black NFL players who said he deserved an opportunity. If you're going to listen to them, listen to both of them. I think they cancel each other out.
Okay, maybe so. But let's talk about what they're talking. If you're talking about opportunity, if you deserve an opportunity to play, that's one thing, or to try out or play or whatever. The opportunity is another conversation versus the ability. I'm talking about.
Wyatt.
There were NFL players saying
Wyatt.
that the dude couldn't get the job done.
And there were other NFL players saying he's better than a whole lot of these dudes we got playing right now,
I mean,
which speaks
you-
to
you
his
can-
ability.
Everybody can say whatever they want
And
to say.
anybody, exactly. That's
I'm
why I
saying
said
on
they
both
cancel each
ends.
other out.
On both sides, they can say whatever they want to say. But all I'm saying to you is that when you are told, like it was people saying he don't come outside, he did all this, he used our culture to do this and do this and do that and blah blah blah. Colin Kaepernick had every opportunity. Listen, he had way more opportunity than a lot of the people that he so-called represented out here, bro. He was raised up in a white community. He was raised up by white people, the whole nine, bro. He had way more opportunity. He used this, bro. He was a culture vulture on that bullshit, and a lot of people ate it up. And if they ate it, that's fine. If you don't want to watch the NFL because of what he doing, that's cool. I'm just telling you that I don't think that he had enough. He didn't have the skills to pay the bills, bro. He got it. He did something like a lot of NFL quarterbacks did. He got on a team that had a magnificent defense, and he was able to maneuver through the NFL by certain means of having certain skills and players around him, and he got the job done. But hey, as far as going on with a long career or getting
hold on. So now you kind of saying he was never no good, right?
I'm not saying that. You got to listen. First of all, I don't like criticizing the individual and their skills, to be honest. And I know I said that. I really don't like to make it like a personal skill set thing, because you absolutely have to be an extraordinary athlete to get at that level. But everybody out there is an extraordinary athlete, and they tend to make each other look normal. But for the average eye,
and they all tend to get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, no matter how bad they are. They all tend to get an opportunity to get in there and fail. That's all. Give him an opportunity to get in there and fail. And then people like me ain't got nothing to say. What y'all put him out there? He threw 12 interceptions in 5 minutes.
He was horrible. Team to just sign him just because? Just to prove that he ain't no good. That will satisfy you.
They got this thing that they do. At least I know they used to do it. I don't know if they still do it. But they got this thing where they let people try out, and they have squads, and they go play before the actual games. They used to call it preseason. And they put guys out there who ain't going to make the team, but they giving them an opportunity. And they don't get signed because they wasn't good enough. I don't know if they still do that, but some team could bring him in, work him out, give him a shot, and then let us see him fail, and then say he wasn't good enough. Again, I don't know if they still do that no more.
Well, they did that for, what's his name? Tim Tebow. But that was a personal thing with, what was his name, from Ohio State?
But they did do it for Tim Tebow.
Well, what you got to understand is this was one of them things that I think the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars was doing something personally for Tim Tebow, who won him national championships while they were at Florida together. So I think even giving Tim Tebow an opportunity to come in and play a different position and him not make the roster kind of makes it make sense when it comes down to, okay, you can sign somebody to a contract and see if they're able to play. But I just don't know. It was Urban Meyer. Thanks, David Herring. Urban Meyer gave Tim Tebow an opportunity, and that's only because I think Urban Myers took a position with the Jacksonville Jaguars, not only as the head coach, but he had, some type of position upstairs to allow him to do that. I just don't think, if you look at a lot of the teams in the NFL, the ownership groups, and you look at some of the guys that they have signed that have done some horrendous things that we don't hear about, the Cincinnati Bengals have done it. They have done it themselves. It's hard for me to believe, I'm just speaking for me, it's hard for me to believe that they didn't sign Kaepernick because surely just strictly because he was blackballed because of what he did. That's hard for me to believe. I think you'll be surprised. The same group of individuals that don't give a shit if you get hurt and don't care about your life, they don't care about some of the things that you do personally either. The bottom line of what they trying to do is be champions. and
Bruh.
they'll use and abuse these guys.
You know what? I love you, man. I love you.
Love you too, bro.
But I don't think
But
that
you
you're
wrong.
being I don't think that you're being realistic about this.
I,
Look,
maybe
I'm
not.
I'm not even
Maybe not.
saying I'm not even saying, Wyatt, that the man is still good.
He's not.
He all of his skills may have diminished.
That's just
But-
human. That's just being
but-
human at this
Okay,
point.
so all of his skills may have diminished. But how long was Tim Tebow gone before he got another shot?
Well, he had already been. He was playing. He was playing. Doing different things. I think
But
he was gone for like 2
he
years,
had been
2.5
he
years.
had been gone from the NFL for years, and somebody brought him in and said, "Well, let's give him a shot, even at a different position. Let's give him a shot. Like, we really want this dude to have an opportunity if he want an opportunity." So I bring you brought up
One
Tim
second, caller.
Tebow, but I bring up Tim Tebow now to say that there was an opportunity to give
So-
him an opportunity, and
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you
nobody
this.
chose it.
Let me ask you this: would you feel better if the Cincinnati Bengals signed him as a wide receiver and gave him an opportunity?
I would feel better.
Would you
I
feel
would-
better if some team came in and signed Kaepernick as a safety or a fullback or a tight end or a wide receiver? Would that make you feel better that the NFL served him right or some team gave him an opportunity?
I would feel better if some NFL team gave him any opportunity.
So,
but
okay.
it won't happen.
So what if the opportunity, and I could be just hypothetically speaking here, what if an
Uh-huh.
opportunity was given to him, but he refused it because he didn't want to be anything but a quarterback?
That makes sense.
Okay, so was that not so? If somebody says if the Bengals come in and say, "Hey, Cap, we need a third down receiver," you could probably be that for us, and he refuses to take that opportunity. Is it now him still being shunned and blocked out of the game, or did he not get the opportunity
let me
he
say
specifically
this.
wanted?
Yes.
So now,
Yes. It would be the same opportunity as if they said, "All right, Mr. Kaepernick, we need a backup center. We want you to come in and try out as the backup center." And he like, "No, that's not who I am. That's not what I do. That's not my skill set. No, I don't want to do that." Well, we gave him a shot. We was going to let him be the center. Come on. They know that for him, that would be ridiculous.
okay, well, that's what they did to Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow came in. Tim
and-
Tebow
and-
came in as a tight end. He's
Tim
never been a
Tebow-
tight end before. He had to learn the position, and it wasn't.
But he was
played
given an
two-
opportunity.
He was by Urban Myers,
Yeah.
and he played 2 NFL preseason games and got cut.
Right.
So I don't
they
even know
can,
if that was
so they
really a
can
fair-
bring you in and try you and then cut you.
Yeah,
That does
But what
still
I'm
happen.
saying to you is he was given an opportunity basically to fail because he was put in a position that he never played before. And you're talking about a guy. See at those levels, bro.
Give
you can't-
Kaepernick an opportunity to fail.
Well, but what if he's given an opportunity to be a receiver in the NFL and not a quarterback? Is that still
Not
an
just give him an
opportunity in your
opportunity to fail as quarterback.
No, that you can't have it your way. This ain't Burger King. What I'm saying
Why-
is an
why he
NFL
can't have it
job
his way?
NFL job is an NFL job.
So
right?
then bring him in.
it's
So bring him in then as a defensive lineman.
Say what now? I
So
didn't
bring
hear
him in as a defensive lineman then. So then
But
that
he's
way they
not
can
gonna
say
sign a
we gave
contract.
him an opportunity.
He's not going to sign a contract as a defensive, as a wide receiver or
So then
anything.
give him
outside
an
of the quarterback.
opportunity to fail as a quarterback.
But
This ain't hard. This ain't hard. They don't want to give the man an opportunity. Now,
well,
it's
that's
they
easy.
league.
That's
It's their league.
That's
It's their
easy
league.
to say.
It's
sitting
true.
from
It's
where
just
we are.
true.
That's easy to say. All I know is I'm looking at a lot of those guys and they bottom lines and what they trying to do to win. And that's just how I feel, bro. We ain't got to agree with it.
Right. We don't have to
Ain't-
agree. All I'm saying is he's not been given an opportunity. And there's again, I agree with you. He'll probably never ever play in the NFL again. And he's cool with it.
All I'm
cool with
saying
it.
to you
So-
is this, man. You got to sometime weigh how people take their opportunities. Sometimes people feel entitled. If their opportunity don't come the way they want it to be, then they tend to make it, they'll change the narrative of how things were presented to them. And that opportunity is no longer a real opportunity. They may have
And-
totally changed the narrative of the whole thing.
And sometimes people try to package an unreasonable thing as an opportunity. And sometimes people peep that out and say, no, I'm not going for that trick. That's
Yeah.
not reasonable. And
Yeah,
you
that
know it's
happens.
not reasonable. You just trying to do that to say you gave me an opportunity.
Yeah, just like the NBA. Just like the NBA did a one-game protest to act like they was protesting
That
Black
was
Lives
the
Matter.
okay. And again, I still because this all started with
That
you
was
saying, well,
more of
why
a
ain't
pump
you
fake.
why ain't
That
you
was more of a
boycotting?
pump fake and an
But
obvious
this was
fake ass
but
move.
this was more you
than-
saying, why ain't you boycotting the NBA? And you still ain't told me. Again, my boycott
I don't watch
on
the NBA. I don't watch the NBA for that. I'm
okay.
on your level of that because I haven't watched the NBA game since then. And the reason being is because of what they did. That Milwaukee playoff game, all that stuff they did, bro. All that stuff that they did, they protested one game and moved it back instead of a Tuesday and moved it on a Thursday.
I
They
didn't
did all,
perceive them
did
as
all that
protesting.
Black Lives Matter on the field, on the court, and did all that on the uniform and all that old stuff, bro. It was fake. If the
Yeah, I didn't.
NBA players really felt the way they felt about that movement, they ass wouldn't have went back to work no sooner than the NFL players would have went. It was all the same. It's basically the same fight, right? It's all the same fight, equality.
No. See, I don't see it the way you see it. Not that I'm saying the way that you see it is wrong for you. I don't see it that way. I didn't perceive that kind of what they were doing was a protest. I know some of the players said that, but I perceived
They
that what
protest. They said they're not playing.
I
You
perceived
talking about the
that,
NBA, right?
yes, I
Okay, yeah.
perceived that what was happening was, yeah, it's cool for the NBA and the players to say we protesting, but probably, I don't remember if that game was in Milwaukee, but
Yeah, well-
stuff was happening, and we don't want to have all of these people come down here when basically the take a chance of something happening and the city being on fire, and now we at halftime and we gotta hunker down because they outside of the arena trying to get in to make a point. You know, they may have couched it as we're protesting, but it
No,
sounds to
some
me like it
players-
was more about logistics and facade. And it wasn't necessarily about a protest. At that moment, from a PR standpoint, it was probably best to say we're protesting because, yes, all the Black Lives Matter over everything, and that was a big movement at the time. And I mean, they are a corporate entity, so they gonna get on, hey, yeah, we protesting. It makes us look, it endears us to this audience and so on and so forth. But I don't think it was actually a protest. I think it was just more logistics and all that kind of stuff.
No, because some of the players, they came out. They said they're not playing. This was not just in Milwaukee. It was in other cities as well. And the players pretty
They
much
wasn't,
reached out.
nobody
and
was
said they're not gonna
playing
play.
in the other cities. Nobody.
Yeah, they were. What are you talking about, E? Yes, they were. It wasn't
Who
in the
was-
bubble.
No. Who was playing on the same night that it was? I don't even remember which teams it was, but was that the
Chris
conference?
Paul came out as a Players Association president, and he didn't want to. He spoke for the crew. LeBron James was saying he wanted to protest. A lot of people came out and said, "We protesting. We're not
I
playing."
don't think
no matter
any
what."
of those
And then 3
people
days-
are above saying something for the purpose of looking good. I know y'all
I got-
like LeBron James. Oh,
Let me
oh,
take
go
the
ahead.
call. Can I
Go
take the call? Because this person has been holding a long time. Good evening, caller. This is King and I. Who am I speaking with?
Man, this CK, good God.
CK,
Haven't
sorry.
been home for 12 hours.
Sorry about that, brother. Can y'all hear him, E? Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear.
Hello?
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry about that, brother.
Yeah, man. Hey, I was trying to figure out, like, I figured I was with Emmanuel, you know what I'm saying? I was protesting and everything, but I had to go, like, you know, they all of them racist, all the professional sports. And just like the Boston Celtics coach getting fired, did you think that was racist, him getting suspended?
There's some people that think that, but
What was your opinion on that?
I don't know if it's necessarily racist. I heard some people like Stephen A. Smith saying some things like this should have never been public and this and this and that. I think that's ridiculous for Stephen A. to say because you got to hear me out all the way on this one first, CK. What would we be saying today if there was no explanation why the black coach of the Boston Celtics is suspended or he's not on the bench right now for the rest of the season or for the entire season, and he went to the playoffs last year, to the damn near championship game, division championship game, what would we be saying right now if there was no talk about it or no one was saying anything about it? What would we be saying? That they doing him wrong?
Yep.
So my
I
question
think they
is,
are doing him wrong.
okay, so how are they doing him wrong?
Because this is a policy. This is a policy that workers cannot, you know what I mean, fraternize. And you have a married woman who's not being disciplined, but the black man is being disciplined.
Okay, go ahead.
So she's breaking the rules just as well as him, but why is she not? Why the white woman, she avoids being disciplined for breaking the same rule,
Right.
and she's married.
Yeah.
And this is Boston, but I'm saying what sport isn't racist? I'm saying reason why I started back watching football because I'm like it was racist when I started, and it's racist now. I'm like Colin Kaepernick getting hired is not going to stop the fact that the NFL is racist. So I mean, hey, this is the way it is. This is America. So we watch racist sports. NHL is racist. Major League Baseball is racist. NBA is racist. NFL. Why Kaepernick getting signed is not the end of race. I mean, why would you watch a racist sport just because they signed Kaepernick if you're against racism?
Okay, that's a good point there. But let me ask you. Let me clear up something on the Celtics situation. You said that the black man got disciplined, but the white woman didn't, right? Is that what you said?
To the vice president. Yep, and she's married to the vice president.
Okay,
So
now let's take our time and think this one out, CK. Who works for the organization and who don't?
Both of them. She works for him too. Remember?
Now, her husband is the vice president of the Boston Celtics.
But she has a position. Remember, she sets the schedule. She set his schedule. That's how they got close because he works with her. She's not just the wife of the vice president. She works for the Celtics also, sir.
What's her role?
She's the scheduler. She's a high appointing person, but she's also an employee. Remember, he's in trouble for having an affair with an employee. If she was an employee, it wouldn't be a crime, would it?
No, what
would be the crime? That's what he's getting charged with: having sex with another employee.
Well,
so why is the black man the only one facing punishment and she's not? If they both committed the same crime, she's having sex with an employee just like he is.
Right, and if what you're saying, CK, is if that's the case, then yeah, that would be a problem. But from what I understood, and I could be wrong, bro, I ain't never saying that I know it all or I know everything, especially when it's more hearsay out there than it is facts. I don't know if she had a role with the team. All I ever heard, to be honest with you, is that he had an affair with the vice president's wife. Okay, and that
not when it first came out. Remember when it first came, he said he had an affair with an employee of the Celtics. We didn't find that out till later. They wanted to know who. Remember, they kept putting out different names, and that's why the Celtics organization had to speak out because people were trying to guess which woman for the organization did he sleep with.
Well, from what I've understood, there's been multiple women involved in this, from what I heard. Okay. But I think the one that everybody concentrated on was the vice president's wife. So if what you're saying, and I see, here's the thing, I have this thing, CK, that I generally don't comment or I generally don't give my opinion on hypotheticals, like what if this happened and if that, and if I don't know the facts, I generally don't give a solid opinion. But
it's a good policy.
What I don't see here, from what I've seen, it was always the vice president's wife who had the affair with this head coach. So when it comes down to the punishment, now I'm just going to give you my perspective because if it's wrong based on the information that I was given. Okay. You can't punish the wife who's not an employee of the Celtics. That's how I seen it. He had an affair with the vice president's wife. He's an employee of the Celtics. The coach is, so he can't, he's the only one that's really in line to be disciplined by the Celtics. Now, if what you're saying to me is if she had a solidified job, if she had a job with the Celtics and she's on contract with them and she's an employee, if she didn't get disciplined for doing the same thing he did, then yes, there would be a problem. Now,
and remember, if what you said is true, there is no suspension because he's not violating the rule. The rule is you cannot have sex with a fellow employee. There's not a rule about you not being able to have sex with the vice president's wife. It's about fraternizing with other employees. If she wasn't an employee, it wouldn't even be a topic.
But see, nobody, and that could be the reason why I would have to, process of elimination of why she may not have gotten in trouble, because she may not be an employee of the Celtics. If you don't know that, if you don't know that piece, then it's kind of hard to call who's being done right or wrong.
I don't know who doing what with who. It is what it is. I don't know the details, CK, the same as when you asked before to say that this is racism. I don't know the details.
But would you admit that the NFL and the NBA was racist before you start watching it, and it was racist after you start watching it, and it will continue to be racist even if they hire Colin Kaepernick? Would you agree to that?
Would there be some racism? Sure. But see, here's the thing for me. I think everybody makes up their own mind where their line is, right? Because I believe that racism permeates the society that we live in. I don't believe that there's a company that you can go to, a major company that you can go to where there's not some racism happening somewhere. So I'm not saying
and the NFL won't even let a black person be an owner. We have never even had an owner in the NFL that was African American. That's how racist they are. That's how good old boy network they are. So it's obviously racist if you can't even own a team because of the color of your skin. All of them white. Every last one of them.
You can't own a team. You can't own a team, but they can put out a ratio of 75% multimillionaires that are black.
Right.
You can't own a team. You can't own a team, but you can allow these guys to live a life, or they can earn. When I say allow, I mean they can make a lifetime of money, leading to wealth. 75% of the NFL.
Well, but that don't necessarily make it okay. I mean,
don't make it okay, but for somebody to say something is racist because of certain things, like the coach being disciplined because the lady wasn't. I mean, we got to figure out the details before we can call it a racism thing. You see what? That's all I'm saying.
The lack of black coaches in the NFL is supremely racist. That's even more racist than Colin Kaepernick. The lack of black minority coaches in the NFL. Well, how many do we got?
I don't know.
Well, I know at one time there was quite a few.
And I want to ask y'all this about Marquetta, because she said y'all was married. I was wondering, since y'all the experts, y'all happily married, why is it she letting the experts speak? It's like she don't want to hear from the experts. That was weird. I was like, damn, she don't want to. So it's like it was her opinion, but she don't want to intake no knowledge. She didn't want to hear from Wyatt. She didn't want to hear from E-Man. And y'all both successfully married. But that was interesting how she didn't even want to intake y'all knowledge on carrying on a successful marriage. It's like she didn't want to hear nothing from the guys who have proved to have a successful marriage with the black woman. That was fascinating about the call. Like every time y'all tried to get anything in, she didn't want to hear nothing from two successful married men, married black men. And that might be the problem too, because you can't even pass the knowledge on, because as you said from the phone call, you couldn't even get a word in. They don't want to hear nothing you got to say because of your success. Is it because y'all maybe if y'all failed marriage, then they would listen to you. But because of your success, she didn't want to hear a word neither one of you had to say. That was fascinating, in my opinion. What did y'all think about that?
Go ahead, E.
I would say somebody been, let me just speak for me. My situation probably would not, or possibly would not relate to Marquetta. You know, it's an individual thing from my perspective. So I'm not an expert at marriage. I can't, you know what I'm
But
saying,
she
fix
didn't even want to hear
somebody's
your
marriage.
perspective. That was what was
Well,
fascinating. You couldn't get nothing in.
that
From
was
both of y'all, two of
fascinating.
y'all. She was
But
dominating y'all on it was verbal abuse, verbal phone abuse.
Well, I will say this.
It was
I will say this. I was a little offended by some of the words because what happens is this: for a group of people who always say that we're not all the same and people put us in the bucket, nobody wants to look like E. If you and I, you and CK are walking down the street, you know, we'll get offended if some white lady clutch her purse when she see us coming. I mean, I would.
right.
See what I'm saying? I would be offended because I would say to myself, and I'd say to y'all, you know, she think we about to rob her, right?
and I would act like I'm about to rob her, like, and then
None of us really want to be seen like that. But yet, you know, when we're talked to as if we're a whole, like the brothers that are doing that damage to some of the sisters, you can't say that all black men are doing that. And some of us that are just not living that way. You see what I'm saying? We can get offended by what's being said. And that's a small percentile of our culture or our people who may be doing that. And that's why I wanted to clear that little part up. I'm glad you said that, CK, about when she said that the Indians do better than us. And I'm saying, I don't know about that because most of the college educated brothers that I know have a college educated woman with them as well. You know, a black woman. To be honest, that's just, I mean, that's not the circle I necessarily run in, but those are the people that I do know. And I'm saying to myself, a lot of them have dual incomes and they do well. And she know her place, so to speak, and he knows his place. And she ain't running him and he ain't necessarily running her. He holds the door for her. He buys the dinner. He picks up the check. And, you know, it's a traditional marriage. It's just they both happen to be banked up. And for somebody, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And you see how both of y'all setting a great example. Y'all like people calling for the knowledge because y'all too successful. So y'all can't say black men ain't nothing. Look at the king and I. Both of the king and I is balling on the marriage side. So you gotta listen for the wisdom. They got to have some wisdom. They ain't just making it up. This is real life. Every time you see them, they celebrating something. So take that in. Stop. It ain't all depression. It's some good living over here too. And you got the king and I prove that.
CK, before you go, I just got one question for you. Did that Red Lobster eventually work out for you?
Hey man, stop listening to this dude, bro.
Yeah. See, that's what I want. Hey, he was peer pressure, wasn't he? I'm telling him, I went on a lovely date at Red Lobster and we had a great evening. Here comes the peer pressure at 50 years old. Is you gonna get your son, CK? You gonna knock them draws? Did you get the draw?
I just asked you to work out. Whatever that looked like to you.
The devil tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey,
the devil was real.
That was enjoyable enough, endless shrimp. I didn't have no freaky stuff on my mind till the king gonna hit me with it like, so what, you about to knock them draws loose. I was like, oh Lord. I wasn't even on that type of time. But
I ain't never mentioned no draws.
I gotta say this to you, brother. I had your back. You know I'm Team CK, right? So when I heard him talking that madness on his show the other day, I was like, he trying to get you pimped, bro. Don't listen to you. You don't have to take no woman out and do all that type of stuff to get.
That's true.
Get none, man.
That's very true.
Right. I did that because, and why do we do that type of stuff? Because we wanted to, like you said.
Exactly.
We spent $70 at the damn In-N-Out burger. That Red Lobster ain't cost no. It ain't nothing but some endless shrimp. It's a special. That ain't no money. I ain't expecting no draw. Just cause, hey, if it's a draw session, get the draw session is to get the draw. This is a date. I just want to go out and eat all this shrimp.
Right.
I ain't
Tell
thinking
him,
about
CK.
all that till Emmanuel put it on my mind with the peer pressure.
I told you,
now,
hey, bro,
now
I know I seen it. I know I seen it. I knew I read the playbook, right?
Red
Let me tell you what he's trying to do. You trying to line this man up to believe that if he is to break off the dollars, that he'll get
No.
the holler. That's what you
See,
trying
no.
to do.
Yeah, no, y'all both apparently looking at it wrong. That's not what I'm looking. Look, like he said, he had already gone to Red Lobster of his own volition, not because she said, if you take me to Red Lobster, then this. That would be him getting pimped. That would be him getting pimped. I'm not about that. Not
But
at all.
You gave him the premise
Again,
of
you
saying,
looking at it wrong, bro.
now,
You
CK,
already went to
you
Red
just said
Lobster.
the devil is
You know, I
real.
wasn't thinking about those draws.
See?
You know, I was happy. That was my.
I didn't say nothing about no
draws.
draws.
I want
I
her
just,
for a mind.
the word draws never came out my mouth.
We do what we want to do out here. We work hard, so we play hard.
He just
It
wanted
wasn't.
some
It wasn't
shrimp.
on sex time at the time.
He just wanted some
Until you
shrimp.
put it on my mind.
He just wanted to
word
go on a
draws.
date with a lovely lady and eat all the shrimp that he can eat. You
Hey.
put this thing in his
Hey,
mind.
all I'm
like,
saying-
yo, you put
Hold
on,
down
hold on.
money.
Now, wait a minute. Now, y'all can go
back.
back and watch it. Y'all can go back and watch it. But I'm going to tell you this. I don't believe the word draws ever came out my mouth. I don't believe the word sex ever came out my mouth.
I don't know. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. I don't know.
CK, you done taken a Red Lobster.
I don't even think I said that. I don't think that came out my mouth.
Yeah, you
I
did
think
say
I
that.
just asked. I just asked
Yep.
the question.
You
With that
asked.
peer pressure.
You asked since he put up the money for all the shrimp that she could eat. You know what they say: if you feed them, you can. And that's what you brought us. Is if you feed her, then you can. You know, and
No.
I'm
I
sure
just want to
CK
put
seen
that out.
that.
Like, if I'm
All I'm
asking a woman
saying-
on a date, it's not to get the draws. I just get to know you. It ain't
All
about a draw session.
Okay,
And
you're
see,
right.
We can get to
And
that,
if you-
but this
if
is
you-
in
All
the
I'm
shit.
saying.
You
Y'all ain't
know
got to
what I mean?
listen
I ain't
to me.
trying to get the draws.
Y'all ain't got to listen to me. I'm just trying to tell you.
I ain't no
that
spring
there's
chicken now.
some
Now, maybe
CK.
in my younger days and when I was broke, then
Nah.
okay. Boom.
CK.
You know,
CK.
I didn't wisen up, man. You
CK.
gotta get to know. You gotta stimulate
CK.
that mind. first, man.
I
Make
agree
sure
with you,
that-
CK.
I ain't trying to do nothing for you to
Oh,
make so
CK.
you think obligated to have sex with me. Nah.
CK, I'm trying to help you, bro.
Man, he
I'm
can't
trying to
get
help
you
you.
with a phone
I'm
bill and
trying to
everything,
tell
so-
you, and I'm trying to tell all of y'all,
Metro.
there is magic
Hey, man.
at the Red Lobster. And if you look, if I sprinkle some magic dust on you and you do nothing about it, that's on you. But I'm telling you, when
Yep.
you go to Red Lobster, bro, that's that magic dust, man.
Man, listen to you.
You right.
It's like a
Then he told me
genie.
about
You
them
got
cheddar
3
biscuits.
wishes.
When he put the cheddar biscuits, now I was ready. I was like, yeah, dang.
Oh my God,
Cheddar biscuits,
Oh boy.
endless shrimp.
Hey, man, y'all
Admiral's
y'all
Feast.
about to
You know
let
what
the
I'm
chicken
saying? What
burn
you-
up, man, let me get back to work. Well, y'all.
Don't let that chicken burn up,
Much
man.
love to y'all, man.
All right, CK, we'll holler at you,
All right,
brother.
CK.
Stop listening to E-Man, man. He gonna have you on the track. He gonna have
All
you out
right.
there pumped up,
Hey,
man.
you can waste that magic dust if you want to.
So what you tell him since he took it to Red Lobster? It was on and popping, right?
I'm just saying there is something about. I'm telling you, there's a combination, and I think it creates a chemical reaction. That's what I really think it is.
Oh, my
Here it is, Wyatt. If Mrs. Wyatt is ever upset, I know you go to big fancy restaurants and spend $300 for a steak and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
Forget all of that. Take
Go
that
to Red
woman
Lobster.
to Red Lobster. Get her an Admiral's Feast. Get some cheddar biscuits. When you go home, have some peppermint soap and some shea butter ready. Put her in the bathtub with that peppermint soap. Rub her down with it or wash her down with it. When she get out, put that shea butter and rub it all in. She ain't gonna be mad no more, bro. I don't know
Man,
what
that
it
sounds
is.
country as hell.
The reaction, the
sounds
chemical
country as hell.
reaction,
All right.
chemical reaction, bro,
Maybe so.
between
I
the
don't know.
cheddar biscuits, the Admiral's Feast, the peppermint soap, and the shea butter. Scientifically, if you look in the journal, it's not the New England Journal of Medicine. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a medical journal out there that they've done the research. I'm telling you,
Man, we gonna have
it's
to
a
get you
magic
promo with Red
formula
Lobster.
almost.
We're
I'm
gonna
just
have to
trying to
get
help
you we're gonna have to get you a what is it, a sponsorship from Red Lobster. You going hard for them. I
It's
didn't
not-
know.
Bro,
I
it's
didn't
not
know. I mean, I'm
just
being honest. I didn't know the
just Red
was
Lobster
great.
don't do it, bro. It ain't
Oh, okay. That's
just
the
Red
starting
Lobster.
point. I know you got to come out the gate of Red Lobster,
Yeah.
and then you wind up at the finish line in the pool with the shea butter and all that, right? The hot grease and all that old shit you was talking about.
I'm just trying to help. Hey, didn't CK? He told y'all, you know what I'm saying? Listen to the wisdom. Listen to the wisdom. I think I'm a little older than you, Wyatt.
Yeah, you're a lot older than me. Didn't you just have
Listen
a
to me.
birthday? Yeah.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
Hold on,
yeah.
let me get Key in here. We're gonna have
All
some
right.
echo issues until I figure it out.
All right, go ahead.
Key.
Hey, what's going on, Emmanuel? How are you?
Hey, Key, I'm doing all right. And you?
All right. Hey, Wyatt, how are you?
What up, though?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't hear him, though. Okay.
I'll fix that by next time.
Okay. I was just calling to say, hey, you guys, just calling to support.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right,
Hey,
now.
have you, hold on, let me ask you, have you ever been taken to Red Lobster, got the cheddar biscuits and the Admiral's Feast, and then went home or
And
went
got
to
your-
his spot and had some peppermint soap? He washed you down with the peppermint soap and then rinsed you off and, you know, spread some shea butter on you. Has that ever happened to you?
Look, that's why I'm calling, because I'm over here hollering. I'm like, Emmanuel done had too much fun on his wife's birthday, his anniversary, then his birthday, and he over there reminiscing or whatever, and he in the Twilight Zone about the Red Lobster and the peppermint soap and the shea butter, and he's like, shoot, when I get off this phone, it's got to go down.
I ain't got no cheddar biscuits at the house. But
I know, but you going to figure something out, because like Wyatt said, you selling it. I'm like, well, he had fun on them all them 3 Fridays and some
Yes,
other
he
days,
did.
and he can't get that off his head. But no, I've never heard of that, the peppermint soap and the shea butter
See?
and all that stuff.
See, there
I
you go.
never heard of it.
Are you a married woman?
No.
You dating?
No, not right now.
Oh.
Yeah, but I've never heard of it. But you selling it, though.
All I'm
told
saying
you.
is that your next opportunity, you tell that brother, I want some. No, don't tell him, because that might take away from the magic. I have to.
No, I'll probably replay this live. Okay, the date is good, 10/10/2022. Okay, listen to this live, and listen to this. And he's selling it now. He experiencing this. He ain't telling no lies. Look how passionate he is about this peppermint soap and the shea butter. Look at his eyes.
If you look, there's a medical journal. It's the I can't think of the name, but it's I'm not just saying something. This is a proven fact. It's in a medical journal. I had to look it up.
Yeah, no, I believe you. Just like how they say Epsom salt's supposed to work on certain joints and muscles and stuff. You done found something else. You done found the aphrodisiac of something.
All right, Key, is that it? You got something else?
No, that's it. That's all. I was just calling to say hey, and Wyatt just checking in. I should have called his line because I can't hear him, but just making sure Wyatt was cool, everything's
Till
good
I
in
said
Florida and the
peace.
family or wherever, and then just checking in with you all.
He said, all is good and peace be unto you.
Oh my goodness.
say all that.
All right, everybody, like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and share
That's
with
my
everybody.
brother.
All right, Key.
All right, Keith. Thank you. Appreciate it. E, before you go on, I got to ask you a question, bro.
All right.
Did you just ask her live on the air? Have she ever gone to Red Lobster and got home and got smashed?
No. See, again,
Yes,
you
you
read
did.
that wrong.
Yes, you did.
I was no.
You just asked her,
No.
E, and then you went on somewhere else. I was about to pull the plug because you was like,
no.
"Are you
See,
dating?"
again, you read that wrong.
I didn't read it wrong, bro. You asked her like if you ever been to Red Lobster and got home and got smashed.
No, I asked her has she ever completed the formula for the chemical reaction? I wasn't
Bro,
gonna
you
ask
didn't
what
even
happened.
get into all of that. She didn't understand. I don't think nobody understand the hell you talking about on the chemical reactions and all that. Nobody is there with you on that.
Journal. It's in the
We
journal.
don't know what you're talking about. We understand what you said when you asked the question, and it was, "Hey, Key, are you have you ever gone to the Red Lobster and after Red Lobster, you got home and got smashed?
I'm
I
not
mean,
even
it seemed like
sure.
you was
You
really
don't even
doing that.
really, you don't have to ask that question. That just goes without saying. Have a dude ever
Huh?
taken you to Red Lobster? Yeah. All right, we know what happened. You know what I'm saying? You know,
What the
yeah.
hell is this Red Lobster, bro? Is Red Lobster that dang? Is it like the spot? I mean, in all my years, I've never heard that Red Lobster is what get you right. I never heard of that. I never heard of that. I didn't heard of a lot of different things, but I never heard
I'm
Red
just
Lobster
telling you.
was the
I'm
spot.
just telling you. Hey, before we go, because we do gotta go. We gotta go.
All right.
Herschel Walker.
Okay.
Herschel Walker. Give me your quick take on Herschel Walker.
Don't know him. All I would say is this. I heard you talking about Herschel Walker the other day. I've heard a lot of people talk about Herschel Walker. I heard them talking about it on the radio show. And it seems to be, here's what I have an issue with.
All right.
Regardless of the political, regardless of my political outlook of, is he worthy of being the governor or senator, whatever it is, it has nothing to do. It's just, it puzzles me how everybody knows everything about Herschel Walker, but y'all don't say shit about Warnock. Nobody's talking about him. And that's where I draw my line in the sand. And that is, you got so much to say about Herschel Walker, but nobody's talking about his opponent. And see, that's the derogatory shit that I don't like, because everybody wants something. They all got something to say about this dude and him. Let's just say, for instance, everything was right, which was wrong. Everything that y'all saying is right, which is wrong about Herschel Walker. What do you have to say about the Warnock guy? Give me some information on him.
Okay, now here's my question. What do you hear when you hear the chatter? What do you hear people saying about Herschel Walker?
It's usually about the kid thing, about the babies.
What about him? What are you hearing?
Well, to have 4 kids out of wedlock, he doesn't believe in abortion. They saying that he had an abortion with a lady that we don't really know now. I know the talk is now it's his baby mama, but from the discussions, from him saying that he don't even know who this individual is, this receipt that came up must have came up in some kind of anonymous type of a way, because remember, he was like, I don't even know who this person is. It would be hard. It would be hard for somebody to say they don't know who a person is, and it actually be the baby mama who would be easily. No, what I'm saying, that would easily be able to be proven. That's kind of a hard denial. Okay.
And Wyatt, if I may interrupt you, that's why people are hitting him hard. People are not. Think about this. Let's call it Democrat, Republican. And I know not everybody rolls this way. So I'm going to use some stereotypes. Democrats are pro-abortion or pro-choice, okay? So they're not criticizing Herschel Walker because a woman had an abortion. Democrats are pro, live your life. So they're not criticizing him because he's got children by different women. Democrats are, a whole lot of the things that they're not criticizing the things that he's done. The criticism is, you said you didn't know the woman, but she your baby mama. Like, even you said, it don't seem reasonable that a person would say, I don't know her, and that end up being your baby mama. So right, the criticism is, why are you lying to us so much when there's no way you didn't know that was your baby mama?
But that wasn't initially.
Why are you lying to us? No, but that's what I'm saying. But why? That is the criticism. It's not what you did. It's you don't own it.
But people were mad at him before that. What I'm saying is, everything that you're talking about right now, the baby mama and the abortion was not even on the table. People were already criticizing. That's some new information.
What were they criticizing him about, though?
About him not being pro, he was against abortion, but he had all these unwed children with several women. They were upset at that, and now he's pro-life. They were upset at him for his political beliefs on that. That's what the initial.
Here's what Herschel gets hammered for, rightfully so. Number one, he's not that bright of a dude. All right, He gets
That's
hammered
not
for that.
fair to say, bro. You know what, man? You know what? If white people say the same thing about black people because of how we talk or how we say certain things, because that's what they say. Listen to what people say when they trying to imitate Herschel Walker. They and it be us, man. That's
It's
horrible,
not,
bro.
no. Hold on, Wyatt. It's not about the way he talk, his dialect. That's not
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
no, that's
Listen
not.
to some of the people
It's,
on the radio
if
when they trying to.
if you take what he said and write it down and then say it right back, you sound like an idiot, because it's not the way that he say it.
Yeah,
It's
man, I've
what
heard
he's
people
saying that sounds idiotic. Like
like
he
what?
don't even finish full sentences, because he it's almost like he doesn't have a complete, somebody has told him, here is what you need to hit. And so he just goes through and try to hit that, but he's not skilled enough to be able to hit it and make some sense. So he's not that bright. And again, I'm not saying it because of the way he speaks. I'm saying it because he's not that bright.
Okay.
All right? So I think that's what people hammer him for, number one. People hammer him talking about the thing about all of the children wasn't about the abortion piece. The thing about all of the children is mainly about one of his main platform issues, or whatever the correct terminology is
Listen,
fathers not abandoning their children. And he hasn't been there for his children,
Right.
according to his children.
right.
So it's not that, well, he got kids out of the way, like he had an abortion and he this. Or the Democrats would be like, yeah, cool. But hold on, you had an abortion, but now you want to stop everybody else from having an abortion with no exceptions. And then you lied about it. You paid for the abortion. And then you said you don't know the chick. Well, we can easily prove that you did. How stupid do you think we are?
Let me ask you this though. Does anybody know? And listen, I've never defended him. You can't say that any conversation that we ever had, it was me defending him.
No, I'm not saying you did.
Okay, what I'm saying to the people, because it sounds like people don't know who I'm dealing with here when I'm talking about Herschel Walker. I'm saying, okay, you know who he is. How long ago was that abortion? I don't know. Does anybody have that information of that abortion that he had with that girl? If we're talking about the baby mama and all that,
here's what I would say. I don't remember the date. I think it was like 2009, but I don't remember the year. But apparently 10 years ago, he asked her to have a second one. So at least 10 years ago.
Okay. So all I'm going to say is this. It's not me defending him. I just want to know that people's positions can change in life. Like you're pro-life. You're pro-life.
And pro-choice, yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought that you were, because the way you talk about it, bro, you sound like you're. And I have no problem with people being pro-life. I'm pro-choice, but I'm in a situation where I understand that when people are younger and in certain spaces in their life, they make different decisions based on their principles at that time.
Right.
And when you grow older and your principles change, your perspective of pro-life, pro-choice, and all that can change as well. Agreed. And to say that this man, because he didn't had 4 kids with 4 different moms or baby mamas, whatever you want to call them, doesn't give him the right to be pro-life now, doesn't make any sense. Because listen, I have friends that when we was 14 and 15 years old had children. And they were looking at me like I was crazy because I hadn't had no kids yet. I'm literally had that peer pressure. Why don't you have no kids? Why, like I was on some other shit. And I'm like, well, I'm a kid myself. How am I have a kid? I just decided to make different choices. And those same brothers that had that had a few babies, I'm talking about close friends of mine who had babies when we was children ourselves. They would, if they look back on it now, they would have never had those kids at that time. And when they treat their grandkids now, they treat their grandkids way different than how they were treating their kids when they had those kids. So perspectives and things in life can change, and it can change your whole thought process.
I agree with that. But see, this is the part that you're missing. All right. Those friends who had those kids when they were young, if they now come out, basically, trying to put down everybody who have kids while they're young and don't even acknowledge that it's something that they did,
But his situation was no secret. I think what happened with the lady and the abortion
He said
became. I'm sorry.
he said he didn't know her. It
Well,
was a
what?
secret.
Well, listen, man.
He had what was it?
I'm not
No, why?
denying that he didn't
But
say
he-
all that stuff, but
Right, but I'm saying he had 3 kids that he never even acknowledged until it came out that they were there.
okay, like I said, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to defend him, bro. What I'm saying to you is this: at a certain point in his life, he was probably that type of an individual. But
Uh-huh.
and that's a reckless, no, who would want a dad like that? Who would want a man like that? A husband like that? Who would want that individual? Bro, we all, not all of us, but majority of the people that I know have all been through some things in life where we made horrific and bad decisions at a young age. And then at a certain point, we change. And when we change, we may not have the best delivery of how y'all shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that because they've been there and they know how it is.
No,
All-
but Wyatt, but what I'm trying to, I guess, express to you is that you're saying, well, why ain't people getting on Warnock for his shortcomings?
No,
Because-
I said that. No, what I'm saying, and I
Okay,
did
go
in
ahead,
the
go
show when you, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, that's
What
all
I'm
right.
saying during your show that I was, spectating and I was commenting on, I did make a comment then, like, wait a minute, y'all saying all this about Herschel Walker. I think what's more important is who is his opposition. What can you tell me about Warnock, whether it's good or bad? Why are you constantly hammering this dude for his beliefs or what he did wrong? Tell me something. Okay, everything that he did was wrong. Everything that he is, he's a slime bag. He's this and this and that. But tell me something about his opponent, who you gonna vote for, or who you leaving out of the dark, who you putting in the dark and not even concentrating on. Tell me something about him. Tell me something about him. Because what I know is that he's a womanizer and he's a wife beater. I know that from what his wife said on the camera. So why don't we focus on, okay, why are we focusing on, and on the radio, that's what they do all day, every day. They talking about Trump and they talking about Herschel Walker, but you're not talking about the opposition. And that's what's more important, because if it's the person that, look, what's more important is the person you're going to vote for, not the person you're not going to vote for. Would you not agree with that?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Then that's where we differ, because
Right,
I
and
don't
here's-
want to talk about my ex. I want to talk about my new thing. I don't want to
But
talk
here's-
about.
But here's why. Here's why. Warnock is in the Senate right now, right? And to my knowledge, he's not just an out and out blatant unintelligent, lying, empty-headed guy in a suit that used to run the football who has no credibility or anything of that nature. So as long as Warnock is not that, he's better than that.
That's
So,
not necessarily true,
at
especially
this
if you don't
point-
talk about his attributes. If
At
all you're going
this
to talk
point-
about is the bad guy,
Okay,
that makes a guy that
okay.
you don't know nothing about a good guy. And that makes no sense to me. You can't sit back and deframe and keep talking about the same person over and over and over again and not talk about the other guy and think that you got a good guy because you ain't talked about him.
No, I'll take a normal dude over a psychopath.
But you don't know he's
But
normal.
what's special about the normal dude?
But you don't know
Nothing.
he's normal.
You know what's special about the normal dude? He's not a psychopath. That's what I'm saying. Like, I got to invite somebody to dinner tonight. Who you gonna invite? Well, that dude is just a normal dude. What
You
what
don't
about
know
him?
if he's
That
normal.
dude is
Yeah,
a
so-
crazy
so
psychopath. Who are you inviting to the house? Well, I don't know much about that dude. You're right. I don't know much about that dude, except he's not a psychopath. I know he's a psychopath.
Well, when somebody
I
has
know
to look,
Herschel's a liar. He's a womanizer. He's he doesn't have any credibility. He's not an intelligent guy. I know he's just going to be used as a pawn. I know that. So why would I even consider voting for him?
well, all I'm saying to you is I've just in my life personally, I don't concentrate on the guy that I know or the person that I know ain't shit. I concentrate on the person that's going to represent me. And if all I got to do is smear and talk about the person that I'm not going to rock with, if that's what's going to make me feel comfortable in my selection, that's the wrong approach. Give me, if you want to make Herschel Walker look real bad, talk real good about Warnock. That'll make him
that's
look
just
bad.
it. You don't have
That'll make him look bad.
But that's just it. You don't have to. All you have to do is tell the truth about Herschel
Well,
Walker.
let me ask you something. Let me just say, no, not necessarily. Let me say this. Let's use, oh my God, this is going to be tough. You and I are right here. We're not married, okay? You and I, this is hypothetical, guys. We're here, and then Marquette is trying to figure out a man.
All right.
And we're her choices.
All right.
And if we're debating one another, I take a total different approach about debating, E. My debate is not going to be how bad you are, bro. My debate is going to be the position of myself. I am going to tell you who I am and what I provide and what I bring to the table. And I'm going to tell you everything about me. I don't want to run a smear ad on you. If I got to talk about how bad you are and not focus on myself, I might not be everything she needs.
Now,
all I can do is talk. Go ahead.
Let me roll with that one. All right. So you up there and you got your resume of everything that you've done and everything that you are.
What I offer.
Everything that you offer. I'm just some normal dude. You know what I'm going to say? I'm a normal dude. I don't offer all of that, but you know his last girlfriend, he put her in the hospital. You know the girlfriend before that, he put a gun to her head and said he was going to blow her brains out. You know the girlfriend before that, he said this. And you know that, guess what? That's your fault that that's who you are. That's not my fault. You shouldn't have all of those skeletons.
But E, she still don't know nothing about you.
And that's fine.
All you did was talk about me. And everything that you said about me may not even be true. It might have been something that you heard.
But if
you
it is,
sell yourself,
but clearly it is, because we're seeing that it is.
On selling somebody else, that means you have no value of your own.
No, because clearly
that's how we go, bro.
That's not how it go.
Yeah, I'm just maybe not in politics. That's clear.
No, it is your fault that I don't have to sell me because you sell me by being as negative as you are.
That's not.
Unless, of course, she likes a dude that put a gun to a girlfriend's head and put another one in the hospital and put another one in the grave. Now she might be into that. Like, oh, that's exciting. That's fine. That's a chance I take.
All I'm saying to you is, even using your analogy of you're the normal guy, but I'm the one that has the resume, and on that resume you checking boxes of how effed up I am on each category. She still don't know you. She still don't know who you are.
She can get to know
me. She only
me.
know who I am on my checked boxes.
That's right. So she got a choice to make.
She got a choice to make. But here's the thing: the choice might not be any better than that checklist, bro.
It might not. So, and she could always choose.
Okay, and here go the same
like
thing.
In this case, she could choose to not vote. Like you could say, I don't know enough about Warnock, but I sure ain't gonna vote for Herschel, so don't vote.
Well, maybe that's the case. But what I'm saying to you is, I am not. You still don't know who you getting if the person who's selling somebody is selling how wrong and how bad. I seen that go through the election.
It's not even Warnock. Warnock is not even, he ain't even saying it. It's everybody else just
he ain't gotta say it, bro.
Looking at it.
That's not, listen, so you saying that he's not encouraging.
Ain't that Herschel Walker's fault that Warnock don't even have to say it?
No, that's politics. There ain't nobody got to say nothing about Warnock either. His records. Okay, here's the thing. You're talking about a presiding, somebody that's sitting in the seat already. If he can't put his record on the line and say, these are the great things about me,
I'm certain that's what he's doing.
Bad about, I'm sorry?
But that's just it. He's not. That's what you're saying.
That's not his job
exactly.
To do that.
No, what you're saying is exactly what Warnock is doing. Even when Warnock is asked point blank, well, what about all of this stuff that Herschel Walker going through? His thing is, hey, look at my record. You can see who I am. You can see what I'm about. And you know, God bless him. He's made some bad decisions, but that's not what I'm running on. But the rest of the people are looking at it like, bro, you ain't got to run on it because it speaks for itself.
Okay, well, all I'm saying to you is this, bro. Maybe our approach is different, and maybe sometimes we need to look at things a little bit differently. All I say is this: if you have to sell me on how bad somebody else is and you can't tell me how good the other guy is, then I need to really do my homework on the other guy. I don't need you to keep forcing some negativity or bad shit about me, about the other guy to me. I get it. I got it. He had these kids, he this and this and that. But tell me the person that's in the seat right now, what are they doing to make things better?
All you
Who
got to
is
do
this
is go
individual?
to his website, go to his campaign. That's what I'm saying. Like you saying it like Raphael Warnock is the one who's saying, hey, Herschel Walker paid a woman. He's not. That's not him. He's not doing that.
And you know
He's
what?
selling him.
Well, he don't know. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not selling him. Here's what happens, bro.
Oh
When
my
you have a narrative sitting out there, all you got to do is sit back and ride the wave. Somebody started some shit, and you ain't. It's a inexpensive wave
How-
to ride.
but-
It's just
wait,
like
but
a
how is that
spear
his
that ain't
fault?
on you. If
How
me
is
and
it
you,
his
hold on,
fault?
hold on. If you and I are going after Marquetta, and
Uh-huh.
Marquetta's and your cousin who I don't know, let's call him Ralph, show
All
up
right.
to the party, and your
Ralph show
cousin Ralph got all this shit to say about you. I ain't gonna say nothing to Ralph. I'm gonna let Ralph say everything he got to say about you, free
Right.
of charge for me,
Yes.
free of charge. And some of the things that Ralph is saying may not even be true about you, but I'm not gonna sit back and be like, y'all might want to check Ralph's resources and make sure this is right, because I want to run an honest campaign and I
We
want to
don't
just
have to.
be
Like,
good about
it's-
me.
It's just coming out like crazy. We don't have to. If Ralph come out and Ralph is like, you know, Emmanuel is evil. Emmanuel is evil. Why you ain't saying nothing? You just sitting there minding your own business, drinking your drink. And Emmanuel is evil. Look, I got a video of Emmanuel doing this horrible thing. And guess what? And then Marquetta comes and says, Emmanuel, did you do that to that woman? And I'm like, I don't even know who that is. And he like, wait a minute. Here's a picture of him and her together. They married. Like, oh, well, you don't have, and it's not your fault that you don't have to say anything. I don't blame Wyatt for not saying anything while Emmanuel implodes. That's not your fault. And what, you supposed to jump up and say, no, hold on, stop it. Don't disparage
you're
him.
making my point. You're making
There's
my
no-
point.
there-
I don't have to say anything.
Exactly.
If you already got
So
somebody
how
saying
is it?
something,
So why is it Raphael Warnock's fault? He's
it's
not
not
saying
his
it.
fault. I'm not saying it's. I didn't say it was his fault. I said people are listening to what other people. I said I tend to. I have to look at it as if, why am I concentrating on how bad an individual is versus hearing something about the guy that I would probably. I need to know something about the other person too. That's all I'm saying.
And that's
you
fine.
don't hear anything. Look, when you're listening to the radio, they just talk about how he is, but you don't ever talk about how the other guy is, whether it's good or bad. There's no
Look,
information.
no,
You
that's just
learn
human
how to
nature.
Because
Wyatt.
no, what it
Wyatt,
is,
yes, it is.
entertainment.
That's just
It's
Wyatt.
entertainment. That's
No,
not human nature.
That is
It's
human
entertainment
nature.
versus
Wyatt.
education.
Wyatt, if you've ever watched a car wreck, I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee, but I doubt that when somebody asks you about the car wreck, you start talking about how good all the other drivers were driving. No, you focus on the car wreck. Everybody assumes that the other drivers were driving okay because they didn't get into the car wreck.
I don't know if that's
what?
a proper
I heard it was a
analogy,
car
because
wreck
you're not
at the
voting
corner
on the
of
other
Vine and
cars.
Mitchell. Yeah, but it was this Chevy that was driving the speed limit.
Yeah, but
and he
but
was
the
doing
other cars
everything he
aren't
was
relevant.
supposed to do.
They're not relevant to any decisions that you're making. That's going
And the conversations that are happening surrounding Herschel Walker and his hypocrisy and his lying, that's not a conversation about Raphael Warnock. That's a conversation about the train wreck that we're watching.
Right. So
we're
when
watching a
people say
train
that an
wreck,
individual who has
and that's
50
human nature.
Yeah, well, I just don't agree with that analogy, especially the car analogy, because you still have to focus in on the other guy. You don't have to focus in on the other cars involved in the car accident. The other guy is going to play a pivotal role in your life based on the decisions that you're making to vote on this individual. I think you should know something about that individual.
No.
Not just listen to all the gossip and all the bullshit about the other guy. That's what's wrong with us. We did the same thing in our election. We listened to all this TMT bullshit and all this old garbage stuff that we listen to, and we're not being educated on policies, and we're not paying attention to who's going to do the best for us. We don't listen to that. We get up in the love and hip hop conversation about people. That's what we do.
I'm telling you, you try to change human nature. Human nature watches there are some that don't. Some turn away but other people like, whoa, it's a train wreck. Let me hold on. You just got here. That train was coming, and then that train was coming, and oh my goodness, that's human nature. So that's
All right.
the conversation that you're
Let's
hearing.
move on. Let's move on. You got 5 more minutes for the last thing, bro? You got 5? Let's move on. We just have to agree to disagree on that. All I'm saying to my folks, if I may get the last word on this, and it's not long, is this, E. Look, I would just ask people. I'm not sitting here capping for Herschel Walker. Trust me, I'm not. Whatever he did in his past is what he did. But I just challenge those that got so much to say about Herschel Walker, please, and I know some of them watch your show. If you got so much to say about Herschel Walker, give me at least half of that of the other guy. Say something positive about the other guy. I haven't even heard anything good about the other guy. All I've heard is the Herschel Walker talk. That's all I'm asking. Well. I'm sorry?
Say he drives well.
There you go. Okay, he drives well. All right, the other thing, bro, what in the hell? I've been gone, right, for a whole week and a half. And I've heard on the radio and a couple other shows and some other things about I can't think of her name, but there's a lady that has been taken in custody.
Lady C.
Okay, Lady C. Never met her. I don't know who she is. I've heard her a couple times on the radio. She's a long time listener and caller of the radio show. And I'm trying to understand where people are coming up with they took her into, you know, custody and not custody, pardon me. They took her to the psych ward, if I may, I guess. I'm assuming it's over at the university psych ward. And they were holding her for the 72-hour I guess you can call it a detainment for evaluation. I guess you can call it that.
Okay.
And she still hasn't been released, and it's been over 72 hours. You know anything about what's going on there? I know you used to talk to Lady C on the radio and all that. You know anything about that?
All I know about it, and this ain't even me knowing anything. I heard her call. I guess I believe that she was in there. It seemed authentic. I don't know if the way that she described it is the way that it happened or not. I've heard, because I've told you everything I know, which is virtually nothing. Again, hearing one side of a story don't necessarily make me know that that's true. But I've heard that she got a lawyer now, and I guess she's going to probate court or something like that. I don't know. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know what happened. But her story is, yes, she was taken for 72-hour observation, and they were trying to force her to take some medication, and that's all I know.
Okay. So does anybody know if there's a history of medical medicine?
I don't know.
Medication?
I don't know.
Okay, because I kind of been listening in on it. You know, I'm just catching the tail end. I actually was listening when somebody had texted me and said, "Hey, listen to this. Somebody's calling from an actual hospital. What's your take on this?" And you know, people were coming to this conclusion that she was being done wrong because the hospital wouldn't say anything and talk about it. You know, legally they can't for so many different reasons, including HIPAA. They can't give out information if you're not, you know, a relative or someone that she gives permission, you know, a relative to sign off on or whatever. They can't tell any information. And I just wanted to get some information on, you know, why do people think that she's been done wrong? And it's not, maybe they don't think that she's been done wrong. They just want to make sure she's okay. And that's fair. But I heard a whole lot of talk about how they do us, and this is done, and they doing us this way, and they doing us that way, and blah, 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 blah. And I did hear the conversation when she was on the radio, and she was saying things like some white man came to her house, and it was a white man, and then all the police that came out was white, and then all the people in the hospital was white, and all this is white and white and white, and they just doing her wrong. And you know, some of your normal agents jump right on that narrative and had no information. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't look out, because that's what a village does, is look out. But I'm hearing a whole lot of conversation about that's how they doing this and that's what's going on and blah, 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 blah. And here we are once again talking about a narrative without any information. And I think it's important for us to sit back and, instead of, following the direction it's going in now, based on some of the conversations that I've heard, we should get a little bit more information before we start drawing these conclusions. And once again, you're hearing one side of the story and you're seeing one thing, and we're now looking at the other side, and you already got some of the agents, drawing up a lot of smoke and a lot of dust and a whole lot of shit that may not have anything to do with the real cause. And you're not helping somebody by enabling them from getting help that they really need, and pushing this narrative of them being done wrong because they've been listening to the same thing for 20 years on the radio. And, I'm not saying.
I understand what you're saying. But I would just say this, in some of those people, because some people are like going way too far with it. I agree with you 100%. Some people take a thing and run with it. But there are people who are just saying, look, we know, some of us believe, let me even say that, some of us believe that there is a history, and that history sometimes can factor into the present. And so if there is a history of this woman who, there's a belief that she has been outspoken about law enforcement in Norwood and other things in Norwood, we don't put it outside of the realm of possibility that they could be doing something nefarious. And because they could be doing something nefarious, if you believe that it's a high probability, and what you base that on is all up to you, but if you believe there's a high probability that something nefarious is happening, you don't just wait until the nefarious thing has come to its conclusion. You try to step in as best as you can, ask for answers, reach out to people who may be able to find out what's going on and affect some sort of change, so that this nefarious thing does not get carried to its intended end. So that's what I see some of the people doing. Like, hey, we need to be asking questions about what's going on, because if if what she's saying is true, then this is not good. And it's law enforcement's fault, in my opinion, that people are so ready to believe negative about law enforcement because they have a history of doing negative. So it's a matter of a balancing act there. What do I believe? What do I not believe? And what's the best way to proceed? Like I said, some people are going way over the deep end. I showed up at the hospital looking for Lady C. You don't even know her real name. You trying to be a visitor to something. That's just nonsense. But some of it is well-intentioned people just trying to be a buffer to try to, if something bad is happening, stop it from happening all the way before it's irreversible.
Yeah, but let me just say this, E, and I'm not trying to shoot no shots at nobody, bro. I know some of your colleagues, and they're probably good-hearted people, man, but the chaos agent shit is when you do shit like this, when somebody calls in and they say, oh, they wouldn't even talk to you. Like, I heard the host wanted to talk to one of the people on the radio. I mean, literally, while on the air, you want to talk to one of the employees at the hospital. And when they refuse to do that, you do that chaos agent shit by saying, see, yeah, y'all know, you don't want to talk to you. You know what's going on. No, that ain't what it is, bro. They can't talk to you. Who wants to lose their job? Who wants to step into that quicksand of losing their job? Because when you give people's information, they can't even tell you, yeah, they here, or no, they're not. They're not allowed to give you any information. But when you light that fuse of that chaos agent shit and try to make it sound like, yeah, they don't see, they don't want to say nothing. They don't want to say nothing, what that. So yeah, we better get on over there. So that type of shit, man, like,
No,
we gotta
I
be,
agree with you. I agree.
you
There's
gotta, there's a, like you, man, like you, bro. When you was on the radio, and still to this day, you have a voice, and with that voice comes a responsibility. And you know, we had that conversation, bro. Like I got mad love and respect for you. There's a level of responsibility that we have to take as being voices. This is what leadership is all about. I might show my leadership in several different ways other than just being a voice, but the voices of the city have to take on more of a responsibility and open up opportunity and not guide people's minds in a certain tunnel. And when we're doing that, we are absolutely encouraging nonsense, and we have to step away. We have to step away from that, or I try to distance myself from stuff like that. And I just felt like it was doing the city or doing the people a disservice by, you know, encouraging that this, I'm not saying that it ain't even a possibility that this lady is in there on false pretenses. You see, I'm not
Right.
saying that. I'm
Right.
just saying don't encourage, like, well, you know, they ain't gonna let us say that. You know, they ain't gonna say nothing, like they got something to hide. Don't say it that way. Maybe they ain't gonna say nothing because they can't by law say anything. So why don't you say that instead of trying to encourage the let the people's imagination go off to the deepest hole that they can possibly find? And you know, E-Man, some of the people that's been calling and saying some things, there's 21 imaginations going in all these different directions. And you know, I heard things like, well, they took my phone privileges, but you on the phone right now talking to people live on the radio. You know, that made no sense to me. And you know, my thing is, I'm not saying that everybody has the same family support, but I'm calling my family members and we're going to get shit worked out before I'm calling the radio. I'm going to have my family members call the media. That's how it's going to go down. You know, I just think that we need to weigh it and try to get the circumstances and get everything right before we start jumping to all these conclusions. And I could be wrong. She might have a case, but there's too many jobs on the line. There's too many people that have to agree, and to get into that, there's too many people that have to be part of this conspiracy for something like that to happen. And you talking somebody over at the University of Cincinnati Hospital. We ain't talking about some dungeon ass hospital over in Norwood that people want to kind of imagine it to be. You're talking about nurses who have a career. These are respectable people that have to be doing these evaluations. And to, you know, I just think that we need to think further out than some of these minds have led us to believe. That's my 2 cents.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And like I said, I've had experiences with Lady C. She didn't come off as mentally ill to me, but what does that really look like? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I said is, she definitely crazy, but not necessarily mentally ill. And because I experienced some crazy, which using my vernacular is different than some clinical mental illness. But it's not a huge stretch in my mind that you can jump from crazy to mentally ill. You know, they cousins. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible, and that's why I'm saying I don't know. I wish the best for her and everybody involved. I hope it turned out in a way that's best for everybody. We didn't have the best of relationship, but I didn't have no animosity towards her, and I don't wish anything bad on her. So
yeah, and neither do I, E. Neither do I. I just think that your influence, others' influences that have people that listen, I think we have to utilize these influences in a more constructive way. And when you do things like want to call these hospitals while you're on the air, or want to talk to these people while they're on the air, you got to know what you're dealing with. Because if you're not going in genuinely knowing what's going on, people can perceive the no information as information that's being that they're trying to hide from you. And that right there, bro, is where I kind of get to the point where I feel like don't I don't know, man. Sometimes people instigate these things, and I just, if you really love Lady C or really have some love for her or whatever, look out for her in a different way. Not all the things that we do for people need to be seen on cameras and on radio. A lot of the work, the best work in the world that you can do for people is the work that most people don't even hear about. And here's the thing, E. I'm tired of us exploiting one another. That's what it is. And I just felt like sometimes, black folks, we can exploit each other more than white people exploit us. And I know that ain't gonna go over too well with people, but I'm tired of people exploiting us. And I wish, and I actually prayed for Lady C a couple times, like, hey, make sure this thing work out for this sister, whichever way it needs to be worked out, whether it's in a medical way or if it's a situation that she's in a position where they have abused their power. Let's make it work out for her some kind of way. But I don't, it doesn't it doesn't help us at all when we have people manipulating these theories. It doesn't help at all. So that's all I wanted to say on that, man.
And Anthony says, that's hard to believe with your petty ass. Look, I am petty. Sometimes I guess I can be. But I don't really wish bad on anybody.
Except the NFL players.
I don't wish bad on them. Like, I hope that they, you know what I'm saying? I don't wish bad on people. Now, if bad come to you, that's on you, possibly. But like you don't see me because I'm an honest dude. I'm not about to be running out there like Lady C, free Lady C. No, but I do hope everything works out for her good. I know, Anthony, but you joking, but some people actually feeling it, and that's why I'm saying it. Like it's like I don't wish bad on nobody. Nobody.
No, I don't think you do. Genuinely, I really don't. E. I think I've only seen you to be a genuine guy, to be honest with you. I don't think you wish bad on the NFL guys. I was just joking, but no, I don't think that you wish bad on it. And I wish well for the Lady C. I hope it works out. Yeah. All I can tell you is this. If it's gone on this long, I'm going to give you an educated guess, okay? Based on some of the things I've seen in my career, her still being admitted, there's some things going on that no one really knows anything about. Because I hear you say something about she's scheduled to go to probate court. Chances are there has already been some things in place, okay? You don't just get scheduled for probate court without other things being aligned. That means there's been some type of either scheduled arrangements done. Probate is an arrangement court. You understand what I'm saying? It's an arrangement court. So either they're working on arranging something now, or they've already had something in place and they're trying to figure out why that was never put in place. There's some things in probate court that go on, which you may have been, like, for instance, I heard she said something like she had a gun. And just because we have a right as citizens to carry a gun, especially now in Ohio, everybody don't have that right. Okay. Everybody don't have that right based on mental capacities and things of that nature. So I just think deep down inside, I don't want to say that anybody's crazy or anything. I don't want to say anything like that. All I'm saying is if they're going to probate court now, there's been some things in place prior to this particular incident.
Wyatt, I got to ask you this question because one of my first reactions to this situation, and I know we got to go. That little baby probably mad as heck at me. But I was advising the people a few things from a legal standpoint. Like, because the story was the police came up and said, "Do you have a gun?" Mm-hmm. And she said, "I own a gun. It's in my purse, but that's not, on her person." Okay. And my suggestion to people was, don't answer questions. You have a right to not answer questions, especially if you're being investigated. And then what became a point of contention was, and this is the part that I really want you to kind of speak on and clarify for me if I'm wrong, and for the other people, because people don't believe me because I'm not an attorney and don't work in the legal field.
Mhm.
I said, if the police, I don't remember how it got here, but if the police pull you over, for example, traffic stop, and the police order you out of the vehicle, they got a right to order you out of the vehicle, and you got to get out the vehicle. And if you
As the
don't,
driver, as the
yes,
driver.
yes. And if you don't, they can arrest you. Now, am I on base or off base with that?
Well, there has to be probable cause.
Probable
First of all,
cause for, hold
yeah,
on,
for
just
the
so I'm clear, if you are, all right, hold on, this is very important. I gotta, come here. Where are you going? You better leave. Come here. You better, hold on.
yeah, take your time, brother.
Get-
Give me one of them, little baby. Give me one of them. Ah.
All right. See you later.
She don't say much, y'all. She very quiet.
All right. Oh, I love you too, little girl. But if the police pull you over for speeding, and
Yeah,
that
okay.
guy comes to the conclusion, I don't feel safe with you in the car, does he have a right to order you out of the car?
Because he doesn't feel. Who doesn't feel safe? The police
The
officer?
police officer who has just pulled you over.
Well, yeah, he would probably find some reason, some probable cause to make you exit the door or exit the car. There could be several reasons. He could say, "I smell marijuana." He could say that you have a gun in your car, and if you admit to having a gun in your car and you're a licensed individual of carrying a gun, a CCW or whatever. I know that's new where we don't have to have CCW. Yeah, police officer, listen, man, they have a lot. People who tell you that you don't necessarily have to listen to a police officer, you have to be careful of that, because there's so many laws that can allow the police officers to put you in a position that you really don't want to be in. When they say that they have probable cause of searching the car, they do have to ask your permission, but it's just a matter of time before they get that search warrant or whatever. They're going to search the car whether you give them permission or not. If you refuse to give them permission, the search is still going to happen. It's just going to take a little longer to happen if it's that serious. But when you refuse to answer certain questions, it all depends on the situation. I listened to a girl talk about how she didn't have to give her license. But yes, you do, ma'am. You're the driver of the car. You do have to supply a license. You do have to show your insurance. You do have to show your proof of whatever registration. In certain states, it's different, but you do have to show these things. These are the things that come along with the licensed driver. These are rules and regulations that you have to follow. Some of these questions sound juvenile and sound like they shouldn't be asking you, and they just messing with me, but they have every right in the world to ask you those questions. And if you refuse to answer those questions, there could be somewhat of a situation. And, people don't like to admit to that. Here's my favorite, if I may just say this. My favorite is when someone calls who's been pulled over. That same situation, you call and they call their attorney. And the attorney says anything other than just cooperate with what they say. If you call your attorney and say, hey, they pulled me over, they want me to do this and they want me to do that, more than likely they haven't asked you to do something that they can't ask you to do. They can ask you to get out of I'm just being honest with you, bro, because they know how to cover their ass. They know how to use the terminology that's going to cover their ass. And anything can get you out of the car. Any probability can get you out of the car. So once they make any comment, that's enough to go on the record to have you removed from the car. I smell marijuana. Please step out. Whether they smell marijuana or not, you understand what I'm saying? So I don't know how to say this without trying to sound like just do what the hell they say, but it's just a matter of time. You're going to end up doing what they tell you to do, whether you like it or not. And I would save the aggravation. I know you don't like that. I know you don't like that.
I don't agree with that. There are certain things I'm saying there are certain things that they can compel you to do and they can order you to do. But I try to be careful about stuff because people take stuff to the extreme. Like you do have rights, right? So if they start asking me, where are you going? And I tell them, I'm not answering that question.
That's a little bit different.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm making this distinction, because people will take that to the extreme and say, well, I was listening and Wyatt said just do whatever they said do. They asked me this and he said I'm going to eventually end up telling them anyway. So that's why I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but there are people who will take things extreme. And this guy, Ben Jones, he was the guy who was saying, you don't have to get out of the car if they tell you to get out of the car. And I'm telling him that the Supreme Court has ruled that the police can take you out of the car for their safety. So he's talking about now some probable cause. They can create just saying, I don't feel safe with you in that car. I don't know where you look like you about to reach for something. If the police tell you to get out, they have a right to tell you to get out of that car.
Well, sure.
Period.
Once probable cause is reached, I mean, it only has to be mentioned. I mean, on record, it has to be mentioned. They have to tell you what it is that they're doing and why they're doing it. Once they do that, then you kind of, you're at the mercy of where this thing is going now. You very seldom. Let me ask people this question: how often have you ever seen somebody sit back and say, I'm not doing a damn thing they tell me to do, and the shit works out and they get to just drive off at the end of it? It very seldom happens that way, especially if it gets combative. It's not going to happen that way. So my suggestion to you is this: if you haven't done anything, just cooperate. I know that sounds kind of, to a lot of us who don't really like the police, or people who have disagreements with the police or whatever, that don't sound right, but your day going to go by a lot faster in the situation to exit. I heard the lady say how the police approached her. Just that approach lets me know that there was more to the story than what she had told y'all. Just the fact that somebody who in the hell in the middle of their yard, outside in their own property, what police officer's just gonna roll up and ask if you have a gun? That doesn't even really serve. There had to have been a conversation with the police prior, where it was that other guy who probably said he gave a situation of what was going on, the confrontation that they had. And throughout that conversation, the police wanted to say, hey, now I heard her say something like, well, yeah, the police asked me if I had a gun, asked me what was in my pocket, and I told them I had candy. So she obviously had something in her pocket at one time, because this man described in a conversation with the police the threat that he was faced with, whether he was right or wrong. I'm not saying that he was right and she was wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there had to be nobody just out of the blue. The police are not just going to approach anybody on their own property outside and just ask you if you have a gun on you when you don't have anything. You don't seem to be posing a threat. So why, that's not their approach. Their approach is to have a conversation with you first, find out what was going on.
Well,
it only makes sense, bro. Why would they ask her if she had a gun on her unless a gun was brought up? Because it was brought up.
I don't necessarily subscribe to that theory. I think that it is
you
possible.
Don't think a gun conversation came up in the conversation with the man and the police first? You don't think a gun conversation came up?
I think it's possible that it did.
I think she even said it. I think she even admitted.
Yeah, or right. But I'm saying, I'm just, you making like some blanket statements that I know you don't necessarily mean to make, and so I always guard against that, because
I kind of put on my common sense to let me know why conversations go in the direction they go in.
I would say that it is possible for police to roll up on people who have done nothing wrong and ask them, do you have a gun on you?
Well, not when they've already been in a confrontation. When they've already
I understand that.
They've already been in a confrontation and they've already had one side of a party's conversation, okay? They didn't talk to her yet. But when they approach you and they already on go about maybe you have a weapon, chances are that weapon was brought up in the prior conversation with the gentleman. So that's why they came. And I'm not saying that you're not right. I mean, I've been approached by the police and I was asked if I had any weapons on me. I mean, that's kind of a protection question for the police. That only makes sense.
But I guess what my intention was with asking this is because I don't want to see brothers and sisters get all messed up. And because I've seen in videos, I don't know if you know, I watch cop watch videos and First Amendment audits and whatnot. So I've seen in videos, police come up to the car and calmly ask a person to get out. I've seen it go both ways.
Mhm.
I've seen the person say, "Are you asking me to get out or are you ordering me to get out?" And the police officer will say, "I'm asking you to get out." And a conversation will happen. And sometimes the police officer will be like, okay. Basically, it's not that important. You know what I'm saying? I was going to write you a warning anyway. So whatever. He ain't got time to deal with this. But I've seen the other situation where, are you asking me to get out? Or you ordering me to get out? I'm ordering you to get out. I ain't got to get out. I ain't did nothing wrong. I'm going to extract you from the vehicle if you don't get out. I ain't got to get out. I ain't did nothing wrong. You ain't got I got rights, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen people extracted, beaten up, or even just extracted and arrested. And there's a person that been on here is trying to convince everybody that if the police order you out of a vehicle, because there's a difference between an ask and an order. And they will switch it. They use terminology, like you said, they know the terminology that they're using. I'm asking you to get out of the vehicle. And if are you asking me, you order me, and he tells you I'm ordering you out of that vehicle, you better get out that vehicle. Because if you don't,
well, he's already
bad,
established the reason why he can order you out. If you're enabling an investigation, he has every right to order you out of the vehicle.
And something bad can happen to you. Now, is it possible that you were asked or even ordered out and you talked your way out of it? That's possible. That's possible. But I wouldn't advise it to anybody because he has a right to order you out of that vehicle. And I don't want Ben
Let me say this to
people
you,
all messed up.
Let me just say this to you. He may not have, let's be technical. He may not have the right. He may have established the right. There's a difference. You know what I mean? They don't really have the right to just come and pull you out of a car. They can establish a right. And what that means is they can create the probable cause. And that's probably something I shouldn't say when I say create. They can figure, because me saying create means they're kind of
manufacturing.
Yeah, they're putting it on you. They're planting it. They're going to do something bad. I don't really want to say it that way. I do have morals to what I do, but I will say this: that there are going to be some probable cause factors in what they can do, and it's happened to me. It's happened to me. I've been not necessarily pulled out of a car, but I've been taken out of a car, not taken out, but I voluntarily exit the car because a created probable cause was made on me. And I use that marijuana thing, and I don't smoke marijuana. My ashtray is full of pennies, dimes, and nickels and quarters, my change. And, it was a fake search, but, oh, well, that, I know I'm not the first and the only and the last person that's going to ever happen to. Did he do it to me because I was black? Maybe, probably. I don't know. But the way his attitude was, that police officer, he probably does it to everybody, white, black, and Asians, whoever. He probably do it to them all because he was just a nasty guy. But that
I'm sorry. I'm trying to address this because I don't want anybody falling for nonsense. Without a crime suspected, you can request a sergeant. You can request a sergeant with crime. That don't matter.
You can have a kilo of cocaine and
request a sergeant.
Yeah,
it don't matter if you request a sergeant. You have to understand, if that officer orders you out of the car, say he don't feel safe, and you request a sergeant, that's fine. But if he want to extract you and arrest you because you're refusing his order, you would go to jail if he wants to.
Yeah, because all he has to say is you're enabling an investigation. Once they establish that there's some drugs or narcotic smell or something like that, now they want to do a search. And if you're just refusing that search and you're trying to be combative or some kind of way, now they can go ahead and get the search warrant or whatever. And maybe, maybe you said something or triggered or did something to make them do extra or do more, that can always go bad. That can always go wrong. So I encourage everybody, like I said, I don't really like to be combative. I don't like to fight. I don't like to fuss and do all that stuff. If you're an innocent individual, it may hurt for me to tell you this, but just do what they say you need to do. I mean, walk away, get home. Don't cause yourself more problems. Just go ahead and, do what you need to do to get home.
And that's wonderful advice. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe to that.
I know.
I've been pulled over and said, no, you can't search my car. And the dude was like, why? And I was like, because you can't. And he was like, but why? And I ran your tags. I know who you are. I got your license. You don't have a record. Why won't you let me search your car? I said, if you want to search it, you know what you got to do. Get a dog out here, get a warrant, do whatever it is that you got to do, but I'm not giving you consent to search my car. You're going to have to put in some work to search it.
Yeah, you
And
can
he
refuse to
didn't,
search.
he didn't end up searching it. Because
You got
see, sometimes I think they do that stuff just to, well, what the heck? I can ask. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? I can ask if I can search your car. And if you say, yeah, I got some extra time, what the heck? I'll search the car. But, so I understand what you're saying.
So then they get a search warrant after you refuse. They already know probably chances are there's nothing in there. But it's a lot quicker if you agree. You know what I mean? If you agree to do the search, he can do it in 3 minutes. But guess what happens if he misses? Nothing happens. But if he calls in paperwork, turns it into a process, and he misses, it's a lot more paperwork and there's a lot more reporting he has to do. There's a whole lot more work that needs to happen. So sometimes if you refuse and he just has this gut feeling like ain't nothing here, they might let you go with it because it's like, they may let you go with it. Like what happened to you, because he knew you, he seen no warrants. They know you work, blah, blah, blah. You don't have a red flag in the computer. Basically, they may just be like, okay, well, maybe he got some weed in here. I'll get him next time. It could be something like that.
Now, Ben says exactly what makes what you're saying different than what I'm saying. They're totally different. One is I'm asking you if I can. I'm asking you if I can search your car. One is asking if they can search your car. The other, if that officer orders me out of the vehicle, I'm getting out of the vehicle. Period.
He's already established.
I'm not fighting anything. Just like if that dog come and hit on the car, which could be fake in my opinion. But once that dog hit on that car, guess what? He can search it. I'm not going to be like, no, you can't search my car. No.
They still need a warrant.
But I'm not fighting him at that point. I'm not jumping in front of holding the door. I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah.
So they are different, Ben. They are different.
See, I didn't hear the exchange that y'all had some time ago, so I can't really take a position. I don't know. I can only tell you what I know and give you that perspective, and y'all can work it out from there. But
I don't want to see nobody get hurt because they listening to somebody telling them that police can't do what the Supreme Court has said police can do. That's it.
Okay. And different states have different laws, so maybe Ben is from somewhere else. It could be one of them situations where he could be from Kentucky or Indiana or Michigan or something. I don't know. I'm just saying that
Ben just lying. Ben just lying.
What did he say? He said that he don't have to get out of the car. Is that
he done upped it to multiple times that the police told him to get out of the car, and he told him he wasn't getting out, and he was just allowed to go on about his business.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. All I can say is this, man, on that situation with the young lady, with the lady, C lady, I just quite honestly think that there's more to it than meets the eye or what's been discussed. There's only one side of the story that's been discussed. I think that there would be I think there is a huge liability.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me take something back. I said Ben lying. I don't want to accuse nobody of lying. I was just kind of teasing about the line.
I think he was just kind of bull
I'm just
crapping a little
teasing
bit.
you about that. I'm not actually accusing you of lying. I apologize. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just think that what's going on with the Lady C lady, I know we all have these conspiracy theories and things of that nature, but I want everybody to consider. Let's take Norwood, who has a reputation that I know personally how bad some situations have been there based on some family members that I've had to help out and do some things for in Norwood. I know how difficult Norwood Police Department is to deal with. But let's take Norwood Police Department out of it. I want everybody to just think about the University of Cincinnati. I don't think that they want that liability of conspiring with what a Norwood Police Department would be up to. Okay, there's a bigger picture here than Norwood Police Department. You have a medical department at the University of Cincinnati that would have to be playing ball with Norwood. And I think they need to really think this out. I think the big help here is not necessarily who's doing her wrong. I think we need to know what we can do to make her right. Okay,
Yes.
I just think people need to think about that first.
All right, why I got to get out of here.
So do I, bro.
Let me just address one other thing. It's just something I got to laugh at. R.
Go ahead.
Wash on here says E-Man gave up $100,000 a job because of his stubbornness. He hustling backwards.
Get it right. Who was it?
R.
was it?
Wash.
R. Wash, get it right. It was $210,000 job.
You're right. I gave up $100,000 job.
And all the
I'm gonna-
benefits of being a celebrity in the city. He ate free at every restaurant, bro.
Let me tell you this.
ate all up.
I'm going to tell Lincoln Ware, The Real Terrence Howard, Raven Mundy, Tropicana, Don Juan for show, and everybody else over there at Radio One that I gave up $100,000 a year job, and we gonna all get
And the perks, bro. You gotta tell them
and the
about
perks.
the perks.
We gonna all get a good laugh out of that one. So thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Hey man, hey bro, let them think. See, that's that shit I be telling you about, bro. Once people get a hold of that information, whether it's misinformation, disinformation, or ill information, they ride with it. So now we all know that E was making $100,000+. I told y'all it was 200,000.
I'm rich, bitch.
I gotta go, E. I'll holler at you, man. I'll see you guys next Monday at 3 o'clock here on King and I. E, you on tomorrow at 3 or what?
I believe I'm on tomorrow at 3.
Okay, I'm on at 5. So, hey man, talk about something that I can piggyback off of tomorrow, bro. Because I'm like, all I'm gonna do is fuss and cuss at people tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I promise.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, man. Nothing but love. Peace and love to everybody, man. The King and I, we're out of here, bro. That's amazing.
You forgot.